legendary New York Yankee Yogi Berra once said, "It ain't over till it's over." And at Dover, Delaware last week, that was the case. Lap 450, John Andretti spun, setting a bizarre series of events in motion. Behind the melee, race leader Dale Jarrett checked up to avoid the spinning Kenny Wallace. When Jeff Gordon tagged Jarrett from behind, Gordon went behind the wall with a broken radiator. Jarrett survived, only to blow up a few laps later. Ernie Irvan inherited the lead, but got caught up in some grease on the racetrack. Then Ricky Rudd became the heir apparent, battling Mark Martin down to the wire and earning his first victory of 1997. It just goes to show you, don't ever turn off TNN Motorsports until the fat lady sings.
Comes. There he goes.
It is a super speedway. It is a short track. It is a road course. Altogether, it is Pocono International Raceway, a 2.5-mile triangular layout outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A racetrack that has seen NASCAR run here for years, but the speeds are quicker than ever, and the grandstands are full for the running of the Pocono 500. A lot of stories to talk about today. This racetrack presents to the teams many different problems, but the man who has mastered those problems over the last few weeks is one we'll be talking about in just a short while, Bobby Hamilton. But first, let's go back a week ago to our winner at Dover, Delaware, Ricky Rudd, standing by with Glenn Jarrett.
And Eli, today Ricky will start the tide forward in the 6th position. He finished second here in both races last year. He's had 4 second places at this racetrack. Ricky, what about your chances? How do you feel about today?
Well, Glenn, this is a real good track for us. We're a little bit off the pace. We're not running like we'd like to in practice, but you never know. I feel like we've got a top 5 car. Whether or not we got a car better than that, we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, we'll see him at the finish. He's always right up front here at Pocono. Now let's go to the front row. Here's Steve Burns.
Thanks, Glenn. Richard Petty won 200 races, 2 of those here at Pocono. But here is an amazing stat. He never won a pole here, but his driver, Bobby Hamilton, has. Bobby, you're starting first. Can you finish first?
Well, I hope so. You know, there's always some sleepers at this racetrack. Rusty runs well here. Earnhardt runs well. Rudd, all the road course drivers run good. And we can't forget the 24 either. We was real good yesterday morning, and he evened up with us yesterday evening. That's not a big surprise, but he's always good everywhere he goes.
Well, the team tweaked on a car. Let's check in now with Matt Yoakum.
Steve, it's been a frustrating beginning to summer for Ward Burton. Over the past 3 races, parts failures have dropped him from 8th to 19th in the point standings. Today, he starts 3rd. Ward, is today the day you end that bad luck slide?
Well, we sure hope so. I got a good team here. The guys have been working hard. Qualifying effort's gotten better the last few races. You know, we just, the few mechanical problems we've experienced have been some of the parts failures that all teams have. Hopefully we've gotten theirs out of the way and we're ready to go today.
Well, he loves Pocono. His best career finish at Pocono was 2nd 3 years ago. He hopes to better that today, getting his first Pocono win. Eli?
Matt, thank you very much. Welcome to Pocono, everybody. I'm Eli Gold, joined by Dr. Dick Berggren and Buddy Baker, a gentleman who won the very first Busch pole here for a Winston Cup race back in 1974. 22 miles an hour slower than they're going today. What are these guys dealing with that you didn't have to worry about?
Well, the one thing they do know, they have to shift on this racetrack. It's almost like a road course in certain parts. High banked in 1 and 2, flat corners on the other end of the speedway. Use all your driving techniques to get around this one racetrack. When I went out there, I didn't have any idea what we needed to do. Harry Hyde come to me and he said, "What's it like?" And I said, "You ain't gonna believe it." Very exciting racetrack.
It really is different, Dick Berggren. That's the only word we hear in the garage.
Yeah, it really is, Eli. This is a 2.5-mile super speedway, but many of the teams have brought short track cars here. Why? The turns are so different, so unique. Get the car so it goes into turn 1 well, it may not come out of turn 3 well. Drives the chassis guys crazy. And the transmission and gear guys, they had to come up with a transmission that could be shifted at 170 miles an hour going down the long front straightaway so the engines didn't blow up. As for the drivers, they'll spend all day hunting, looking for the best possible line as it moves around. As for the crowd, Every seat is full. The unique challenge of Pocono has brought the fans here to see which driver and which team can handle it best.
And we will all find out together. Glad you're with us here on TNN Motorsports. The Pocono 500, the first of 2 visits to Pocono International Raceway, is about set to roll off the line. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pocono 500 is brought to you by Texaco. Play Race to Millions at Texaco and you could win $1 million. By the Miller Brewing Company, proud sponsor of the Miller Racing Team. We race for beer. By the more than 1,575 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Goodyear, #1 in tires. The field, as you see, beginning to roll off the line. And let's take a look at today's starting lineup. Bobby Hamilton, his 3rd career Busch pole. And Dale Jarrett, who won here in July of '95. Ward Burton, best start of the year. And Greg Sachs going in the number 40 car this weekend. Bill Elliott with 4 Pocono wins. And Ricky Rudd, last week's winner. Terry Labonte, consecutive start number 550. And Darrell Waltrip with 4 Pocono wins. And he's a guy who's been really confident in the garage this weekend, Darrell Waltrip.
And he has every right to be confident. He always runs well here, but he's been very quick in all the practice sessions that we've had. They've got a good strategy. They're going to go conservative with the engine, try to keep it together.
Wally Dallenbach, Mark Martin together on row number 7. Hut Strickland in row number 8 with last July's winner, Rusty Wallace. And how about Jeff Burton? He's the best super speedway racer of the year, Buddy Baker.
You know, they brought a car up here, Eli, that they run at Martinsville. Buddy Parrott made the call. He said that car will win the race up there. He's very confident, and I think that Jeff Burton is definitely ready for this race.
Row number 11, you see. Further back in row number 12, Bobby Labonte, last week's Busch pole winner. And you know, Jeff Bodine has led more laps than anyone here at Pocono. There's David Green and Joe Nemechek. Had he turned into speed, Nemechek, on the first day, he'd be starting 3rd instead of way back in the field as he is. There you see row number 14. Further back, Jeff Green and Kenny Wallace. Ted Musgrave. Michael Waltrip finished 2nd here in June of '88. Jimmy Spencer was 8th here in 1996. Row number 18. A couple of Alabamians there. Row number 19. Brett Bodine and Derek Cope. Kenny Schrader, normally see him up front. He's got 5 Busch poles here, but he starts 39th today. And row number 41, first career top 10 last week for Mike Skinner and Dick Trickle. Interestingly, not qualifying today were 3 guys. Chad Little, Billy Standridge, Dave Marcus. Do you know that had any of those turned in the speed that they did this weekend back just 3 years ago, they would have won the Busch pole. That's how these speeds have accelerated over the years. Now the AutoZone race analysis, brought to you by the more than 1,575 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts, I should say, in auto parts. And there you see all of the numbers pertaining to today's event. We'll have in-car coverage for you today from Morgan Shepherd. They have finalized that sponsorship with R&L Carriers. They're aboard for the rest of the year. Mark Martin coming from the middle of the field for you. Dale Jarrett starts up front, right behind the pace truck and alongside Bobby Hamilton. And Bill Elliott, a 4-time winner here at Pocono International Raceway. He too will be giving us a ride around this 2.5-mile layout. As far as this Ford track description, brought to you by the Ford F-150, strength after strength after strength. There you see the interesting numbers. You don't even know where to start, guys, because if you look at this front straightaway, 0.7 of a mile, the longest single straightaway in all of NASCAR racing.
Also, one of the widest front straightaways in all of auto racing. There's room for cars to run 4 deep down the front straightaway, making it very unusual because you have to get back in a single file to go through turns 1 and 2.
We are set to go green. The flag man this weekend in the alternating process is Jimmy Howell. Jimmy being backed up by Rodney Wise, leans out over the field. And we're glad you're with us here on TNN Motorsports. We're underway, the first of 200 laps. everybody, and here comes Greg Sachs now challenging for second. Sachs, he said he's got a car that can get the job done this weekend.
He's driving with a broken foot. He broke his left foot in a practice accident several weeks ago. It's not in a cast right now, but he's concerned about being able to use the brake. All he needs to use it in places like that, getting in the turn.
And you made a very interesting observation. They do not use the clutch on this racetrack. They have transmissions that you just pull in the gear, but using that brake with that left foot, and it's swollen up also, so he's in a bit of pain there.
Being more by the time this day is over, and he knows that. He knows tonight's going to be a painful night, but he is out here anyway.
And now back to the start-finish line. 1 lap complete. I love that shot.
I do too. I think the whole world loves that shot. And you can only see that picture at Pocono where they spread out going down that great big 3,700-foot front straightaway.
And a high-speed hairpin there, turn number 1, with the most banking of any of the turns, 14 degrees. Now they're on what we call the Long Pond straightaway that ties turn 1 to turn 2. Long Pond is the village in which we are sitting right now. There's 3 wide on that Long Pond straightaway, and Hut Strickland's getting shuffled out.
Well, Hut realizes there's really not an outside groove that you can run fast in, so he was trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack, but he didn't get her done.
Well, it's really too. He wants to be sure that he can preserve that car, keep it in one piece for the end of this race. Easy to get in trouble here at Pocono.
You can see I'm coming off turn 3 here towards the front straightaway. You really come off there with a lot of speed, and that one place on the racetrack is where the front end on the race car will not turn the way you want it to, and it's real hard to keep it out of the outside wall.
Into the first turn, that's the steepest bank here at Pocono. It's 14 degrees. Everything else is less than that.
In the old days, buddy, you remember, too, everybody used to set up for that first turn, but not anymore.
Well, you have to give up somewhere, and the fastest place on the racetrack is really coming through the short chute and trying to make this long sweeping corner, which is right here is a tunnel turn. Now, this is the short chute that I'm talking about. As we go down into the next corner, you'll see the corner seems like it never ends. You just keep bending. Already into the turn there, right down on the bottom of the track. You're still turning, picking up speed. Now you're coming out towards the outside wall. Finally, the front straightaway. That's your corner you have to run fast in.
And if you don't get through it well, you don't get down the front straightaway well either. So it's even more than just getting through the turn. And that is the one that they really want to get set up for. But the crews also say that you can't just set up for that. You've really got to compromise the car so you get through 1 and 2 as well.
You can see Jeff Gordon now making a move on Terry Labonte on the Long Pond straightaway.
He's up to 6.
He was the fastest car by 0.4 of a second in the last practice yesterday.
And they're real nervous about that thing as well. They might.
Now a 5th spot as he's gotten around Terry Labonte. Of course, those two, remember Labonte getting that victory when Jeff Gordon missed that shift here back in a couple of years ago.
Yep. This race, 1995.
Yeah, gave Terry the victory after he was in position to inherit the top spot.
See Jeff Gordon picking him off every straightaway. He picks up another spot. In the middle part of the corner, watch his car right here as Ward Burton tries to keep up. He'll pull him 2 car lengths before they hit the straightaway.
Let's not ignore the front man, though. That's 1 and 4/10 seconds already for Bobby Hamilton, as he's pulled away by that bit here on the first handful of laps. Laps here take darn close to a minute to complete. 53, 54 seconds as we're just underway. Welcome back, everybody. We are just underway here at Pocono International Raceway. 7 of 200 laps complete. The relationship from first place back to second, Greg Sachs. There you see, with Jeff Gordon now in 3rd, Bill Elliott 4th, and Jeff Burton is next in line, or should say Ward Burton now moving up into the 5th spot as positions swap around here in the early stages at Pocono International Raceway.
You see, right now, the 24, Jeff Gordon, is really happy to ride right there with Greg Sachs because he has great straightaway speed. That car is really hauling it there with Greg Sachs in it.
Greg, who has run here in modifieds over the years, not just the full-bodied NASCAR Winston Cup machines.
Oh, he's loose.
There goes Sachs.
Oh.
Caution in turn 1, lap number 8. It'll get to the leaders as they cross the stripe at lap 9. No sooner had we been bragging on Greg Sachs, and around she went in the corner.
Eli was just carrying so much speed in the center part of the corner there. The back end started around. He tried to catch it. Around it went. And once you lose it there, you're going to the outside wall.
If you're curious, she is filling in this week for Robbie Gordon, as we've been mentioning over the last week or so. Robbie might return from his Indy 500 injuries next week. It might be the week after. It's basically a wait-and-see situation. But that's why Greg Sachs was filling in. And again, another look is certainly worthwhile, buddy.
Okay, Greg Sachs in the 40 there. You'll see the back right here. Start around. He's in trouble there. He steers into the slide. The back end just comes right on around. Now he goes out. Oh, hard lick in the outside wall.
Going, gone.
You see the roof flaps up. Wow.
That was a brand new car. He did have his name on the roof of that thing and had a lot of hope that he might someday wind up driving for Felix Sabates. A lot of conversation about Felix and his sometime IndyCar driver, Robbie Gordon, and whether he's coming back or not.
I just hope that Greg didn't hit his left foot when he went into the wall there. It was on the driver's side, and I tell you, when you have a broken foot and it slaps the inside of the car like that, sometimes it really, really hurts.
And some of the doctors, at least, who have seen him, wanted him to have a cast, but he said he just couldn't drive the car that way. And he said, you know how we racers are. We've just got to race. So he is kind of doctoring himself, at least to a degree.
Glenn, a lot of guys checked up behind Greg Sachs. Could you tell as they went by if anybody else got a piece of anything?
I didn't see anything from that incident, Eli, but Jeff Burton had gotten into somebody else earlier. He's got some damage to the front end of his car. He's been talking to the crew about it. It is affecting the way the car's driving. It has hurt the downforce on the nose of the car a little bit, but that came before this accident, so didn't see anything that stemmed from this. I think the guys that were right behind Sachs were far enough back that they saw it coming and had time to make their evasive move.
Jeff Burton there back to 16th.
Yeah, you could see the right front fender has quite an air gap in it where it's kind of bent back and out. So the air's getting under there, and I'm sure aerodynamically, you run 190 miles an hour down the front straightaway here. It's got to hurt the car.
Well, now here comes Bill Elliott making a pit stop. We're riding with him on pit road right now. He will come in. Let's see who else comes in. John Andretti.
We're only at lap 10.
Yeah.
This is really a whole bunch of them are coming in. Jeff Bodine is coming in. Jimmy Spencer is in.
Let's go to Steve Burns.
Yeah, Bill Elliott in. Now, I will say one thing about this race car before we discuss the strategy. He loved this race car. He ran it in Charlotte, sat on the pole. If everything goes well, he'll also run it in Texas, or has run it in Texas, Michigan, California. Sat on the pole here at the Winston, just taking right side. They are going to change 4 tires, and Mike Wallace is in right behind him.
Others who have made stops, Jeff Green, Jeff Bodine has been in. There you see Mike Wallace, of whom Steve was talking. Jimmy Spencer has stopped. Rick Mast has stopped. So too Kenny Wallace. Bobby Hillen has been in. A number of teams electing to make an early stop. What else is going on, Steve?
Yeah, we just found out Bill Elliott called in on the radio and said he's got a bad vibration. He feels it in the brake pedal. It feels like a caliper or a rotor is loose. We'll check back with Mike Beam.
So we'll keep you informed on those developments as this afternoon unfolds. 10 laps complete. Unseasonably cool here this weekend in the Poconos. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pocono 500 is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. Well, folks, it's finally here. ExperienceCountry.com, your personal source for all things country, from race cars to country stars, virtual tours to the great outdoors, classic to contemporary. Country.com is your link to music bits, video clips, a program guide, and a wild ride. Connect to TNN, CMT, and all things country. Country.com, your personal source for all things country. 11 laps on the board, and Glenn Jarrett, let's get an update from the pit lane.
Well, Bill Elliott has come back in. Also, Jeff Green has. Jeff Green's got an oil gauge problem. They're trying to get the thing to register properly so they can keep check on the engine temperature and pressure. We're hearing a lot of guys complain about the racetrack being a little greasy down in turn 1. I think that's one of the reasons we saw a lot of guys come in. You don't get too many early caution flags here at Pocono. When you do, if your car is off just a little bit, this gives you a chance to make some adjustments, get the car right before you get too far behind here. If you get behind here, man, you're in big trouble because this racetrack's so big, so spread out. Also, we tend to run for a long time here with a green flag. No, you got to get as much fuel as you can whenever you can. And let's go to Steve Burns.
Glenn, I mentioned a moment ago that Bill Elliott loves this particular race car. He also loves this racetrack. He has 4 career wins here, but they've got problems. Mike Beam just said we need to change a rotor. I believe it's the left front, but it's going to be slow going for Bill Elliott right now.
Bill Elliott, last win here back in 1989. If you're just joining us, that's the reason we're under caution. A problem for Greg Sachs in the corner, and here's another look at what happened.
Well, Greg Sachs, the number 40 car. See him on the bottom. Gordon is right behind him. Gordon starts to close. There goes Sachs. Car drifting up, back in, and around she goes, and here's the hard part. Boom. Let's get another look at it one more time. Another camera angle from inside Bill Elliott's car. Nice job coming down. Elliott takes the low side, gets around that. Be a whole lot more to go here at Pocono. We're just getting started.
300 yards past the restart, and look at Mark Martin. Everybody going as way wide as you can here on this 6-lane wide main straightaway at Pocono International Raceway.
You can see last week's winner there in the 10 car running in 4th place now. Ricky Rudd really loves this racetrack. As a matter of fact, most road racers get around here very, very well.
Ricky finished 2nd here in each of the races last year.
Look at Darrell Waltrip. Did you see that going 3 wide?
DW likes his place. He has 4 wins here, tying him with Bill Elliott.
There he is.
That's some fast company DW's putting away there. That's Dale Jarrett. He just got by as we were speaking then. They're heading towards the front straightaway, and you see Darrell is not giving up ground to anyone.
Darrell and Bill Elliott and the late Tim Richmond, each with 4 career wins here at Pocono. That's tops. That's best for anybody.
In fact, Tim Richmond won this race 10 years ago. 5 years ago, it was Alan Kulwicki won this race.
That win for Tim Richmond, as memory serves, one of 6 for Hendrick Motorsports here between Jeff Gordon and even Jeff Bodine. A lot of folks might forget that his win here at Pocono came for Hendrick Motorsports.
And Terry Labonte.
Indeed.
Eli, the 3rd car there, Jeff Burton, he is not Ward Burton, pardon me. I get these guys mixed up. Ward's the one that talks a little slower, drives very hard, though. You can see him doing very well around the racetrack. He's shifting 3 times instead of the standard 2 like everyone else.
The standard shifting procedure, and as you see the battle for the lead heating up now with Gordon chasing down Hamilton, the standard shift points are right here. We'll notice them right now. Right there is one shift into overdrive, and then roughly right there another shift prior to going to the corner.
Let me touch on that. When you're really racing very hard, sometimes you actually go down into the center part of the corner there before you make the shift. You really want to roll in there as fast as you can and don't want to shift down and make it slow down too much.
That's 12th place right there on the screen. Ernie Irvin and Morgan Shepherd side by side. Our friends at Napa bringing you the score rundown across the top of the screen. At Napa, we keep America running. And there they go around Morgan Shepherd.
That's Jeff Burton.
Indeed it was. Look at that, 3 wide again. What's the deal on Morgan, Glenn? He can't seem to get back to the inside.
Well, they've been fighting a little bit of a push all weekend, Eli. They tried a bigger sway bar, and he just hasn't been able to get the car to turn exactly where he wanted to. But still, you got to remember he has moved from 20th up to 12th. He's back to about 15th now. The car running very well. Interesting story. In fact, a great story on this new sponsor they got in R&L Carriers. We announced it a couple of times that they were looking for sponsorship, as did everybody covering the races. And back in Ohio, Mark Jones, the parts manager at R&L Carriers, was listening. He went to his boss, Robbie Robertson, whose father owns that company, pitched the idea to him. Robbie went to his dad and said, "Dad, what about getting involved in this?" 1 day and a half later, after they contacted Richard Jackson, who owns that car, they had the deal put together. That has enabled them to go on racing. They were just about to have to park that car.
Yeah, that's great news. We were talking about that all in the garage area this week. Here goes Hut Strickland, who had a good run going last week at Dover in the number 8 machine. Couldn't quite make the move around Morgan Shepherd. They're running in 14th, 15th, 16th position now.
You see Jeremy Mayfield in the 37 there. A good run last week in Dover, 4th, and actually had the 26th fastest time of all, and would started 9th if he'd had the lap he had yesterday.
He's just 57.
The first day.
Yeah, he's just 57 points out of 10th place in the standings now.
I'll tell you what, you watch that number 8 car today because he is going to be fast. He has the same car he had in this race last year. He led 19 laps in that car. He is one of the guys who is going to try to do it by shifting twice. He'll shift on this long front straightaway, and then again he'll shift it into overdrive on the backstretch, the long pond straightaway. By doing that, they get to run a little bit more gear in the car that gives them a little bit more poke out of the corner. The problem, when you're going into that tunnel turn, if you have to concentrate on changing gears as well as finding your line and all the rest of the cars around you, it can be more than any human brain can cope with. So Strickland will have his mind filled with lots of things today.
If they had a touch just then, it would have been more than anyone could cope with. That was awful close there.
Jeremy Mayfield in the number 37 car.
17th position. Look at them hustle to get back in single file if they can going into one. Some guys just can't make it.
Ooh, Joe Nemechek really got down low there. You can see right there the 36 car of Derek Cope is trying to go with Nemechek. Your draft here just exactly like you do at Daytona. There's a lot of draft down the straightaway.
And Nemechek has been fast the whole time here at Pocono, except for one lap. It happened to be his time trial lap when the engine let go. So he had to play catch-up. He has had to start more in the back of the field than he otherwise would have, given the speed of that number 42 car.
There goes Derek Cope now inside of Musgrave. They're battling back at 19th.
Yep, Musgrave's another one who had a bad time trial lap. Blamed himself, said he just overdrove the car and said there's a lot more in this race car than my time trial shows, and promised that he would be passing cars today, and indeed he is.
Now up front, here goes Jeff Gordon. He puts the challenge on Bobby Hamilton. They're working the long pond straightaway to the tunnel turn, and Jeff Gordon goes in front at lap number 19. So he worked and worked and worked himself up to the front. No surprise, though, these two men, well, not that guy, but the two guys on the track were quickest in practice yesterday. Bobby Hamilton is back in front. Second is Ward Burton. Then there's Labonte and Rudd and Waltrip. And where's Gordon? Look all the way back, middle of your screen. Jeff Gordon is now backslid to 13th. Glenn Jarrett, what's the deal?
Well, first, right after he took the lead, Eli, he radioed in and said he had a vibration in the car, got very loose when he went out front. Now they think they have a flat or a leaking right rear tire. Right rear is going down. He is going, they're going to bring him in. They're going to change right side tires and put 1 can of fuel. He will be in on the next lap, next time by, and it will be a 4-tire change. Now, they're not certain which tire it is, so they're going to change them all.
Eli, it looks like maybe the right rear was a little bit loose, but you can see the car moving around quite a bit now.
Here's what happened when they swapped the lead around. Remember, Gordon had taken the lead at lap number 20.
He just went up the racetrack.
Yeah, but he's aware that there's something wrong. He never comes back. You can see Terry Labonte going by him, and he never got back in the throttle. He knows there's something wrong with the chassis on that car.
And then when Earnhardt went by, look in Earnhardt's car. You see him pointing and waving. He's pointing towards the tire to let Jeff know that from Earnhardt's perspective, he's able to see a tire going down. You see how Dale is pointing emphatically? Meanwhile, there's also a problem for Bobby Hamilton. Problems for Bobby Hamilton, the race leader. Are we back at Dover in the final 50 laps again? Gordon is on the pit lane while Hamilton is having problems. Glenn Jarrett.
Okay. The right front is going down on Bobby Hamilton's car. Gordon's in. They've got the right sides changed. I'm going to try to get a look at those right side tires. The left sides are on, and he's down and away. And we'll move right next door, waiting on Bobby Hamilton to come in. Man, I can't believe the luck these guys are having.
Seems like we just never even left Dover. This is picking right back up. Bobby Hamilton there being bypassed by everybody.
Smoke. You can see the smoke off the right front of Bobby Hamilton. he's very lucky if he don't tear the right front fender completely off his car. You can see the rubber starting to fly off the right front.
And that's the lead there. You saw Ward Burton and Labonte. Ward's first.
Look at the right front fender there.
Yeah.
Shades of Rusty Wallace lost the race here a few years ago just that same way. Had the race in hand. Right front tire came down, shredded the fender, also shredded an oil line. Oh.
Tough break. Glenn Jarrett, these guys had the car to beat.
Oh, it looked like it, Eli, without a doubt. As you could obviously see, the right front went down on Bobby. Very strange that the two cars running out front, you got to feel like if there might be something on the racetrack. They made no contact with anybody. I wonder if there was something on the racetrack that maybe they missed from Greg Sachs. They changed right side tires only, and boy, the right front tire is disintegrated. Tough break for Bobby Hamilton. What a good car he's got.
See Kenny Wallace coming off pit lane as well. He made a stop at lap number 24. Well, Ward Burton is the race leader. First race that he has led in 1997, the MBNA Pontiac. You've got Terry Labonte there in second. Ricky Rudd is third. Darrell Waltrip is now up to fourth. And Dale Jarrett is fifth. Rusty Wallace is running sixth. Dale Earnhardt now in seventh. Eighth is Jeff Burton with Mark Martin ninth and Ernie Irvin 10th. That's your top 10 now as everything has cycled around. Go figure.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Well, that large lady we saw in the tees at the very beginning, remember the ones with the horns on her head? She hasn't even shown up in Pocono yet. Never mind get on stage to sing the tune.
Eli, look at this. Jeff Gordon is that far from being a lap down right now. He must really get after this car now. He does not need to let Ward Burton get by him as they start down in the corner. Ward is doing a great job here in the 22 car of Bill Davis.
And he does well at Pocono anyway. His second time here, he started second, finished second. An incredible run here in 1994 for Ward Burton. He was the fastest car in the first practice session here. He has consistently been at the top of the speed charts all weekend long in that Bill Davis Pontiac.
Gordon just did click off one of the fastest laps of the day, better than 165 miles an hour. But again, he's staying on the tail end of the lead lap. That's the one benefit of Pocono as far as if you're having a problem. As we told you earlier, it takes darn close to a minute to get around this racetrack. So even with your deceleration and the work on pit road, if you've got a good pit crew, which obviously Jeff Gordon does, you can get out without losing a lap, although it's usually very close. Meanwhile, if you're just joining us, we've had only one caution. Greg Sachs spun on lap number 9, and Matt Yoakum is with him in the garage.
The good news, Greg Sachs has walked out of the infield care center. Greg, some close quarters racing with a 24. What happened?
Well, I'll tell you, the Coors Light team gave me a great car, great engine. I was really excited about the qualifying run and the way we were able to run out there, even though it was early in the race. You know, there was no contact or anything. You know, Jeff got tied up with me coming off of turn 1 there, and there's quite a few bumps on the low side. When he kind of got the air off my spoiler, the car just came around.
A disappointing end of the day for Greg Sachs.
So the first and only retiree of the afternoon is Greg Sachs, driving for Robbie Gordon here this afternoon at Pocono. 28 laps complete. There you see the leaders. Then the spread back to Rusty Wallace in 6th spot. Dale Earnhardt behind him. And here comes Jeff Burton to the right of your screen. The X-Side machine just out dragging Earnhardt into the corner. They changed engines in Dale Earnhardt's car this morning. They just weren't satisfied with what was going on in the final practice here yesterday. So they made a change this morning.
And his teammates, Deal, they've changed engines 3 times since they've come here for the same reason. They did lose one in Mike Skinner's number 31 car, but they also changed engines this morning. And so did this guy. Mark Martin changed an engine. Interesting story on that. You know, you kind of wonder about the car owner fumbling around in the engine. Well, let me tell you what. Jack Roush saved the day this morning. He was looking at the carburetor, pulled one of the pieces in the carburetor apart, and found a little tiny piece of plastic in it, right in the jet. Decided that that little piece of plastic might have leaned the engine down in the last practice, said pull it, and that may well save the day for Mark Martin.
Meanwhile, Glenn Jarrett's checking up on doings on the pit lane.
Well, we moved down to Bobby Hamilton's pits. Take a look at this right front tire that came off of here, Eli. Completely shredded it all the way down to the inner liner. Now, the inner liner is still up. Back over to Jeff Gordon's pit, he didn't do this to his tire. They just punctured it some way. They think that it might be inside the tire somewhere. It had a leak. But nothing like this on Jeff's car. But Bobby Hamilton, you can see the damage he could do to the right front fender. Now let's go further down pit road.
Glenn, Dale Earnhardt has radioed in. He's having trouble seeing out of his windshield of the 3 car, as is Dale Jarrett in the 88. In fact, Jarrett said we need to get somebody on the windshield. Somebody is oiling down the track. So Dale Earnhardt and Dale Jarrett having trouble seeing.
Of course, everybody who's running in and around them are lead automobiles. You'll see the rundown as it goes by on the top of the screen. Let's see how Ernie Irvan does now to the inside. He and Wally Dallenbach scrambling here on the main straightaway. That's 10th spot.
Look at Ricky Craven making it 3 wide as they head down toward turn 1. Ricky thought better of that and tucked right back in behind Irvan.
Well, that's smart. This is only Ricky Craven's 5th start, rather, here at Pocono. And remember that many of the guys who came through the Busch Grand National ranks have not run as much at Pocono as they have at the other tracks, because Busch Grand National doesn't run here. So this is Ricky's 5th try at Pocono.
Remember him telling me he'd only seen the track on TV when he first showed up in '94 for his first race.
That's good to see Bobby Hamilton back up to speed again. With that amount of damage to the right front corner, he seems to be back up to speed. You can see him passing cars, trying to get back into position.
Meanwhile, Bobby Hamilton, as Buddy mentions, running in the 40th position. The second car on the screen is the race leader, the MBNA Pontiac for Ward Burton. He finished 7th in Texas. That was his best finish of the year. Maybe today's the day for Victory Lane. Welcome back to Pocono International Raceway. We are 34 of 200 laps complete. Ward Burton, the leader, over Terry Labonte. They're the locations for the NASCAR Thunder stores. They are open in Atlanta, Winston-Salem, Knoxville, Dallas, and the newest location open now at the Kenwood Town Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. A lot of other locations to be announced this year. We'll give you those details as they become known. Matt Yoakum, you got a man there visiting with you.
The man in black, Dale Earnhardt, comes to a stop. It's going to be a 4-tire stop. Dale's complaining the car is so loose he can't even drive it into the corner. He's having some aero problem with some other cars, loosening him up, going into the corners, taking air out the spoiler. They're going to correct his problem with a little bit of air pressure adjustments and adding about a 1.5 rounds of wedge. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Matt, we're in Ricky Rudd's pits. I just talked to crew chief Jim Long. He said Ricky says the car is just a tick tight. But then he asked Ricky Rudd the question, what do you think about 2 tires? Ricky didn't say anything, so we're going to find out here in just a second.
Other pit stops, lap 35. Rusty Wallace is in. Wally Dallenbach is in. Nemechek is stopping as well. All of those are scheduled stops, as you see. Ward Burton, the race leader, due to come in any moment now as he tries to put Jeff Gordon a lap down. But remember, Ward's going to have to stop here in just a moment.
Yeah, and Jeff Gordon got caught by a lap car as he started out of the pits, and Jeff had to go very wide. And you see Ward Burton almost a lap on the 24 car of Jeff Gordon.
But the 22 is going to have to pit soon, and Gordon will not, because when he
How
came
about now? Here he comes.
Yeah, that's real soon.
It'll be lap 36 for the NBNA Pontiac. Boy, here's a little dance right there for Ward coming in.
You have to slow him down. There's a speed limit on the pit roads here, and you cannot exceed it. If you do, they'll bring you right back in and make you lose the lap.
Let's cover the stops.
Well, Eli, Ward has brought the MBNA Pontiac in. This also will be 4 tires and fuel. The car's a little bit tight, so you can see right now they're taking a little bit of fight out of the right rear of the car. Just a little bit too tight. It's very overcast right down here right now. A lot cooler than when the race started, so it's evident that some of the cars have tightened up. Ward wants his just a little bit freer. A little bit of problem there. A lot of fuel spillage and a little bit of trouble getting the left side up. Oh, a little bit of a slow pit stop. 25.5. That will hurt him. We look for Terry Labonte to come in next time by.
Good stop there for Dale Jarrett, 5 seconds quicker than the one that Glenn was describing for Ward Burton's team. We've also seen Johnny Benson pit. Kenny Schrader has been in. Here come Ricky Rudd right now. Rudd and Darrell Darrell Waltrip, as that wasn't the cleanest getaway right there in the Yates pit.
No, it was not. He had a lot of problem getting any traction at all. Darrell Waltrip was running in 4th place. He's really got it together today, Eli.
He does. They were so very confident, and Darrell, as I told you, winningest driver in this racetrack's history.
He's completed more laps here than anybody else. 15,000 miles he's running. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Dick David Hatfield throws a jack underneath the 10 car. They are not going to make any changes at all. David Anthony on the front tires. Danny Marshburn on the rear. Have a little bit of trouble on the left front, but now he's gone.
So he does a burnout leaving the pit lane. Ricky Rudd does. Last week's winner at Dover. Kyle Petty is on the pit lane now. Terry Labonte is expected here anytime now, and here he peels off the racetrack. So this stop will be at lap number 38 for Terry Labonte, and everything is going to cycle on around now for a new race leader. Back to Glenn Jarrett.
And Labonte brings the Kellogg Chevy in. Eli, he's going for 4 tires of fuel also. I asked Gary Dehart if they would make any chassis adjustments. He just looked at me and said, nope, 4 tires of fuel. So evidently Terry likes the way his car is now. Good stop on the right side. Boy, the guy's got around really quick. Hope we got a clock on this one. Yes, we do. I want to see how fast it is. A little bit of trouble on the left side. Down and away. I got it just about 19.9. Very good pit stop for Terry Labonte under green.
And it cycles around now for Ricky Craven, who assumes the lead in the Budweiser Chevrolet. We were told telling you about Ricky, who is only running his 5th career race here at Pocono International Raceway. He has finished 26th, 25th, 17th, and 20th. Not stellar performances, but it takes you a while to learn this place.
It does that, and one thing he better know is to come in for fuel before it runs out. This is one of the few racetracks that we run on. If you run out of fuel on the front straightaway, you cannot coast all the way around.
And here he comes down the pit lane now. So Ricky Craven will come in. That should cycle things around to the Wood Brothers car. Michael Waltrip now is the new leader because they have not yet made their pit stop here. Let's cover the stop for Craven.
And Craven brings the Budweiser Chevy to a stop. The last 2 have been by the Hendrick guys. We're going to have a contest this time to see which Hendrick crew can get them out the quickest. Very good on the right side. Jack Hands around there, got the car up on the left. He might be able to rival Terry for the speed of that pit stop. The tires are on. He's down and away. Yes, he did. 19.35. Great pit stop for Ricky Craven.
A super stop for him, so a great bit of effort for the Hendrick bunch there. On the racetrack, the positions moving around, so it'll give Mike Skinner the race lead now, ahead of Elliott and Michael Waltrip. That's how everybody is getting themselves back in line on the racetrack. So Mike Skinner, the Lowe's colors right there. Elliott is now in second. Third place, you will have Michael Waltrip as everything cycles around with John Andretti for the moment being shown in fourth. 40 of 200 laps complete. The good-looking hamburgers, but I don't know about that guy. Welcome back. There's the battle for the lead here at Pocono International Raceway. Bill Elliott wants it. Swings right by Mike Skinner. So Bill Elliott now takes over the lead. Lap number 41 here at Pocono International Raceway. Bill Elliott, a 4-time winner here in the Pocono Mountains. Oh, by the way, if you're curious, I wasn't making fun of that guy flipping burgers. That was one of our TNN technicians, Paulie McCauley, who has climbed down from wherever he normally is and grabbed the spatula for that cameo appearance. So that's who you were looking at moments ago. Lap 42, Bill Elliott now the leader here at Pocono International. Let's set it for you. Skinner is second. Michael Waltrip is third. John Andretti is fourth. Jimmy Spencer is fifth. Rick Mast is sixth. Jeff Green seventh. Brett Bodine is eighth. Dick Trickle 9. And Bobby Hillen is 10th. Remember, a bunch of the names I've just read off hit it at lap number 10 in conjunction with that Greg Sachs spin on the first caution. Many others did not. That's why that group has risen to the top right now while everybody else is working themselves up through traffic.
It's been an interesting battle here for first and second. One of the most experienced racers at Pocono is in the lead, and one of the least experienced racers, Mike Skinner, is in second spot. This is Skinner's second ever race here. He ran, he's coming into the pits now. He ran an ARCA race here, ran just a few laps of it, and the car failed. And this is his only other start so far at Pocono.
He had qualified for a Winston Cup race and never could even get off the starting line. But now he has done far better than that. He's come in and he has led, though there he is, the crew going to work on him. They've had some questions about some of the valves in the race engines this weekend, and they have, as Dick mentioned before, they've changed to a number of different power plants since arriving here on Friday, but the team seemed pretty confident this morning.
Yeah, they seem confident, but they are also not totally confident because this is one of the most difficult racetracks on engines. They run these things 88, 9,000, even over 9,000 RPM, and that puts a tremendous strain on the motors.
That's 25th and back that you're looking at right now. And again, remember those fellas making their stops and working back through traffic. But what about Earnhardt, Matt? 25th position right now. Mired in traffic, or is the car not going to work any better?
The plan right now, Eli, is to go over about the next 10 laps and see how those changes that they made over the last pit stop work. They added a little bit of wedge, some air pressure to try to tighten him up. This is going to be a 10-lap run. An update on Jeff O'Dine. He had a flat left front. They made no adjustments. Billy Taylor said the car is good. We just had the left front flat. It was all our trouble. On the 99 of Jeff Burton, they fixed their right front fender. No adjustments for Jeff Burton.
Steve? Matt, Ernie Irvin had problems on that last pit stop. He came in 9th. He's currently running 23rd. They couldn't get the jack underneath the left side of the car and get the car up. But he's back at running full speed now.
And there is Ernie forefront of the screen being shown, as we say, in 23rd spot. Up front, Bill Elliott showing the way. Right behind him is Brett Bodine, who has just come out of the pits. He made a stop at lap number 42.
Eli, after this whole cycle goes around, I believe we're going to see something we haven't seen in a few years right now. I believe after the cycle goes, we're going to have Darrell Waltrip challenging the number 5 of Terry Labonte for the lead.
That's how things are shaking down here. Terry Labonte, Darrell Waltrip, they're on the racetrack nose to tail, 9th and 10th.
There's your leader, Bill Elliott. Pride of Dawsonville, Georgia, 11 times Winston Cup's most popular driver by the vote of the fans.
There's a swap for second place right now as John Andretti will power past Michael Waltrip through turn number 3. That's where the RPMs drop down. That's that low, long kind of a road course turn, if you will. There is Michael Waltrip. By the way, Leonard Wood back at the racetrack this weekend here at Pocono, and that is certainly great news. The Woods have been so successful as as a racing team, not only here at Pocono but everywhere. But Leonard back at the racetrack after the tragedy the family suffered following the Winston when his wife was killed in that automobile accident. Leonard's daughter Beth Witt was released from Baptist Hospital. Beth's 4-year-old daughter Carlin is now home recovering well from her abdominal injuries. So that is certainly good news there, although that's not the only injury that they've had to deal with. They've had to swap out some crew members now because of the other injury to Larry Cropland.
Yeah, and he was injured at Charlotte during the 600-mile race. He's had to go back into the hospital again for a top-off procedure. Elliott coming in now. He's had some more work done on his leg, but he's a tough guy. He's watching this race from the hospital. Larry, get well. We miss you.
Now, this should be a scheduled stop for Elliott. He came in at lap number 11, so he's gone roughly the 35 laps, 36 laps you'd expect. Let's cover the stop.
Eli, Bill Elliott radioed in just a moment ago. He said the car seems to be okay. As you said, on lap 11, he pitted. He said they thought there was something wrong with the brakes. They're going to change 4 tires. They made a chassis adjustment to the right rear. Rodney Rhodes is a jack man. He's got the car up. Joe Caroni on the front tires, and Gerald Shires on the rear. And Bill Elliott's gone. 22.5 for Bill Elliott. 22.5.
So when Bill pitted, John Andretti took over the lead, and the RCA colors right there come off turn number 3 and head back towards the pit lane. So he will make his stop, and that will give Michael Waltrip the lead, unless he's passed by Rick Mast. You know what it is. It is Paul Adams at the controls, Nathan Crawford behind the camera.
Buddy, you're on.
The best smelling blimp in town. I tell you what, I'll never be able to have a cough drop again. I'm not joking to death, folks.
That is the race leader, folks, Jeff Green. Now remember, he pitted at lap 10 and again lap 11, and everything else is cycling on around. What we're seeing now, because of some opting for a pit stop when that first caution came out, others having to make unscheduled pit stops, others making pit stops that went a whole lot longer than others. We're seeing a really widespread field right now. You've got Green the leader, Darrell Waltrip is second, that man you're riding with, Dale Jarrett, is third, Terry Labonte is fourth, you've got Ward Burton in fifth, Ricky Rudd is now sixth, Jeff Gordon seventh, Joe Nemechek is eighth, you've got Jeff Burton in ninth, Rusty Wallace in 10th, Ernie Irvin runs 11th, Mark Martin is 12th, 13th is Jeremy Mayfield, then Dale Earnhardt in 14th, Derek Cope is 15th, 16th is Hut Strickland, then Morgan Shepherd, Ted Musgrave, Andretti, who pitted moments ago, is now 19th, 20th is Ricky Craven. We mentioned before the break that either Michael Waltrip or Rick Mast would be the race leaders. They have since both made their pit stop, so that's why everything has cycled around. And it's rather a big spread right now of 13.7 seconds from the leader to that pack of traffic right there. So it is 13.7 seconds because everybody is on basically a different pit stop sequence right now.
And I'll tell you what, I think every soul in this packed, sold-out grandstand is cheering today right now for Darrell Waltrip in that number 17. 50 years old, a four-time winner, has not won since the Southern 500, 1992, 143 races ago.
Let's remember this lap. DW will be the leader. Down the pit road is the 29 right now of Jeff Green.
So Jeff Green makes his stop, a scheduled stop here at lap number 53 for him. Again, he hasn't stopped since lap 11, so this is a scheduled stop. And here comes Darrell Waltrip to the stripe, and DW will take over the lead while we watch the Cartoon Network crew go to work. Glenn?
Well, guys, you can see him beating on the rear spoiler and also adding some wedge to it. They're trying to tighten that car up. He's been complaining that the car has been just a little bit too loose to his liking. The sun has come back out very brightly right now, and that will loosen the cars up here quicker than I believe any place we go. They got the 4 tires on in 21.3. Not a bad stop considering the chassis adjustments that they had to make on the Cartoon Network cars.
But Darrell Waltrip now is the race leader for only the 3rd time this year. He led 1 lap at Charlotte, 1 lap at Dover last weekend, and now here he is leading at Pocono International Raceway. So 3 races in a row now DW has led.
Eli, that wasn't track position this time. He passed these guys to take the lead.
And Darrell
Waltrip for real today.
The guys behind him are battling for position now as it has cycled back around to some degree of normalcy, if you will. Darrell ahead of Jarrett and Terry Labonte. They are 1st, 2nd, and 3rd tied together right there.
Jarrett moving around on Waltrip, trying to get position on him. He'd certainly like to get by, looking for the 5 bonus points.
Darrell's 38th race here at Pocono International Raceway.
Amazing. Just amazing.
I tell you, he's on the go, too. They're not closing in on him. Dale Jarrett right now is the only car that looks like he has anything at all for Waltrip.
So Darrell Waltrip, who has now led 600 laps at Pocono, is showing the way today. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pocono 500 is brought to you by the more than 1,575 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by the Ford F-150, strength after strength after strength. Bill Elliott on pit road, lap number 57. He had problems on the racetrack, brake related. Let's take a look at what happened and bring you up to speed.
Well, he's going down into turn 1, and just about right there, you'll see some smoke fly out. This is where the problem happens. Now he has to get back to the pits, and the right rear was jumping 3 inches, 4 inches off the ground as he started down pit road.
This now is for the lead. Oh, and Bobby Labonte has brought caution onto the speedway. Turn number 1, there's caution as Dale Jarrett and Darrell Waltrip battle back to the stripe. Caution for the second time. Lap number 57 here at Pocono International Raceway. So Bill Elliott had his problems, couldn't even stop on pit road. He went right through his pits, and the crew had to come out and basically catch the car to push it back into his pit stall. And there you see them going to work now on the right rear.
That is liable to be a lengthy stop to try to fix it. Steve, what's going on?
Dick, it is a broken brake rotor. As we said on lap 11, he said, I feel a vibration in the brake pedal. They are going to try and ride it out, but as you can see, the hood's up, and they're going to try and get it in, but they're pretty much done for now.
So Dale Jarrett now is the race leader as we are under caution. Darrell Waltrip led lap 53 through 57, and now here's why we're under caution.
Oh, Bobby Labonte's going sideways into the grass on the back straightaway. You can see a lot of damage to the front valence and all as he bounces through the bumps on the back straightaway there. Nose of the car gets a lot of damage as he's in there. The other thing, for one person, bad luck. For Jeff Gordon, a tremendous chance to make up a lot of lost ground that he had to make early in the race.
All right, he's now cycled back around to 6th place and is very much in the hunt with everybody else as we bunch up here for this upcoming restart.
Labonte has had tough luck here at Pocono. 4 races in a row. Didn't finish either race last year. This event in June, he had an accident, hard accident, involved fire. And then in the July race, he lost a motor, and now this.
So the field under caution, and this should bring everybody back to a normal pit stop sequence as well. Everybody should be coming in here at lap number 60 when they come back towards the stripe, and that will bunch everything back up together again. Second caution, the first came out at lap 9. Greg Sachs spun in turn 1, and now here at lap 57, Bobby Labonte spinning off the corner. So let's see who does what now on these stops. We'll give you a look at Darrell Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, and Terry Labonte. Matt Yoakum, you're first.
55 miles an hour. Darrell Waltrip comes to a stop. Jeff Hammond told the guys, nice, calm, patience. Don't make any mistakes. It's under caution. No adjustments on Darrell Waltrip's car. He likes the way the car is handling. He says, we've got a good car today. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, man. A chassis adjustment on the left rear of Terry Labonte's car. Also cleaning the windshield. A lot of grease and grime on the windshield. I don't see how Terry can hardly see. Left side's up. He's down and away at 19.13. Let's go to Steve Burns with Dale Jarrett.
Glenn, Dale Jarrett's having the same problem. His windshield was absolutely filthy. John Callis cleaned it up. They had a very good pit stop. They did not make any chassis adjustments for Dale Jarrett.
So the service complete to all the teams on the lead lap, and we are going to break away while the field resets here at Pocono. 60 of 200 laps complete. Back with you at Pocono International Raceway. Everybody on the lead lap, with the exception of Brett Bodine, has made a stop. Brett was in at lap number 42. He elects not to pit here at lap 61, so he has taken the lead with Dale Jarrett second, Darrell Waltrip third, Jeff Green fourth, and Terry Labonte fifth. And while we remain under caution, a time now for Ray Evernham and Larry McReynolds to chat just a bit. All brought to you by Peerless Faucets, the do-it-for-yourself faucet.
I'm home during the winter. I pick up the paper, and a headline said, Larry McReynolds goes to Earnhardt. Leaves Ford, leaves Irvin, goes to Earnhardt. And I keep thinking, man, what happened? What for? Larry, show me the money.
No, wait a minute. Whoa. You avoided my first question. What does this interview pay? My agent told me never to do an interview without first finding out what it pays.
Well, it'll pay the same as when you have to ask me a question when you're doing a race. Fair enough?
Okay, good enough. We'll start from there. Okay, why did I leave Ford and come to Chevrolet? Well, you ever heard of throwing the towel in? That's what I did. Just throwed the old towel in. Just wasn't no way could chase in Monte Carlos no more. But now that I'm over here, I've got a little bit different perception. The Monte Carlo ain't near as good as I've been telling them. Now, you and I got to go over and convince them guys we need some help.
I'm really glad this guy's on our side this year because I didn't really want to race against him. Now I feel like he's a teammate. And he was kind of picking on himself in the paper when he said he jumped around, but I guess I've known him since probably about 84, and really this is only your second or third job since then, isn't it?
That's it. Only changed jobs twice since 1983, so work hard to keep my feet planted, just like you're doing over at Hendricks.
Larry, are you going to share the setups with your old buddy Ray here when you and Dale get to being pretty tough?
Oh, absolutely. You know all you got to do is call on me, Ray, and I'll give you any setup you want.
Well, thanks, Larry.
That sounded like a setup, didn't it?
You believe any of that?
That sounded like a setup. Brett Bodine has made his pit stop. Jeff Bodine has been in. Kenny Schrader is in on the pit lane now. Andy Petrie's bunch servicing that machine. So everything is cycling back around. Let's go down to Bobby Labonte's situation. Remember, he spun off turn number 1 before. Here he comes again, Glenn Jarrett. The car has seen better days, certainly.
Well, it certainly has, Eli, but fortunately for Bobby and the Interstate Batteries crew, it's primarily sheet metal damage. The right front fender has been torn almost completely away from its anchoring rods, and they're just strapping, pulling bungee cords across the front of the car, trying to make sure that the right front fender doesn't flap. Bobby was complaining about the car being very, very loose. He got in the corner back there, and it just got away from him. So other than that, he's okay. He said the steering wheel's still centered. Let's update the rest of the guys here right quick. Ward Burton took 4 tires, no chassis adjustments. His car running very well. Jeff Gordon has moved back up in the order. He took 4 tires of fuel and put a little bit of wedge in it. The car was just a little bit loose. The guy who made the best move on that caution flag pit stop exchange was Jeff Green. Remember, he had just pitted about 5 laps before that under Green. So he came in and took fuel only, and that got him back out in 3rd place in the running. Also, Terry Labonte put scuffs on. There's a lot of rubber buildup on the racetrack. They're putting a lot of stuff into the radiators of the car. They've got to watch the water temperatures. Let's go to Steve.
Glenn, we've been talking about Bill Elliott. He's had bad brakes literally today. Take a look at this. His brake rotor, as we said, broke, and the caliper just, look at that. It just came right apart. You can see where it tore right there. So they've got the brake line plugged for Bill, and he's back on the racetrack right now, but a day of bad brakes. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Ricky Craven's been complaining his car is a little bit loose, so Andy Graves, the crew chief, went up 1 pound on the right front tire to try to tighten him up. Otherwise, he says he's pretty happy with his car. An update on the close call Ford of Brett Bodine. They made a major chassis adjustment, put 1 round of wedge in the right rear, 4 tires, and he was down and away.
So that brings you up to speed. Dale Jarrett is the race leader right now. This is the 9th different race he has led in 1997. Highway transportation provided by Winnebago Industries, the official motorhome of TNN. Stop by your local Winnebago or Itasca dealer now and see the new models available. For more information on the Winnebago Motorsports team, please call 1-800-643-4892, extension 2. Commercial transportation for this telecast provided by Ryder, the official transportation company of Opryland. This telecast also sponsored by Featherlight Trailers, the official trailers of NASCAR, CART, IRL, and major sponsor of the NHRA. Remember to call Featherlight for all your trailer needs at 1-800-800-1230 or 319-547-6000. Welcome back with Buddy Baker, Dr. Dick Bergman, Glenn Jarrett, Matt Yoakum, and Steve Burns. I'm Eli Gold. Rusty Wallace on the pit lane. Glenn, what's going on?
Well, Eli, I'm trying to find out. They've been in such a furor down here. They've got a pop rivet, and they're going to the right side. Oh, it looks like the window on the right side has come loose and is flopping and flapping around. So they're trying to pop rivet it back. They took a drill over there to drill a hole to put some more pop rivets in it to hold it more secure. And also cleaning Rusty's windshield. No tires or anything like that. Just a minor little body adjustment during a 500-mile race.
The field getting the 1 to go signal. That's why you see so many cars going past Rusty there on the pit lane. They have come in to top off the fuel, and there you see the numbers. Just that one retiree, Greg Sachs, out with that lap number 9 accident.
Eli, to win races, you have to have that kind of luck that Rusty Wallace just had. Had that window come out during the green flag lap, NASCAR would have brought him in and made him repair that under the green flag. You'd have probably lost a lap or maybe 2.
As far as the NASCAR Winston Cup points, brought to you by Haviland. Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. That's at this start of the day. Terry Labonte by 37 over Jeff Gordon. And on down the line to Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Burton in the top 5. Of course, a lot of things are apt to change, as we saw throughout the day last weekend at Dover. But that's how everything was stacking up before the green flag here today. Let's set the field for you as we get set to go back to green. Next time by, Dale Jarrett is the race leader. Darrell Waltrip is second. Jeff Green will restart in third. Fourth spot will be Terry Labonte, with Ward Burton going in fifth. Jeff Gordon will restart sixth. Good run for Derek Cope, looking for his first top 10 of the year. He'll restart in seventh. Jeremy Mayfield eighth. Joe Nemechek ninth. Ricky Rudd will go 10th. 11th will be Jeff Burton. 12th will be Michael Waltrip. Ernie Irvan will restart in the 13th spot. 14th will be Hutch Strickland. Ted Musgrave 15th. Morgan Shepherd will restart in the 16th spot. Rusty Wallace, after that stop, he'll restart back in 36th position. Green flag, and we're back to work here at the Pocono International Raceway.
You could hear the spotters say, go, go, as they take off. What a great run there by Dale Jarrett on that takeoff.
3 wide behind him for position.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
4 wide and 5 wide.
How they ever sorted out to get into that first turn without making it partway through 4 wide is, I think, a good testimony to just how good these drivers are.
They don't always, Dick. I've been down in there when it looked like Barfield's junkyard when you get down there. Cars going everywhere.
And we don't mean Ron Barfield.
Look at this.
Look at old
DW
Darrell
on the bottom. Wow.
Darrell Waltrip led laps 53 through 57. He'll retake the lead lap 66, bringing Jeff Green with him, and Terry Labonte. All will go by Dale Jarrett.
Amazing. I tell you, that shows you when you get on that outside line, as good as Dale Jarrett's car is, he went back 3 spots in that one little corner.
Tell you what, Jeff Green is doing a masterful job here. He is another driver with very little experience at Pocono, but what a terrific job he's done today as we look at them come down that big front straightaway 4 wide.
Jimmy Spencer in the middle of that pack. Does 40 miles from his home in Berwick, Pennsylvania. There goes Ward Burton battling Jarrett again.
Look at this. Here comes Jeff Burton giving Darrell Waltrip a run for the lead.
Jeff Green takes the Cartoon Network colors to the front. Can he get there and stay there? Jeff Green.
That's impressive. That is really impressive. They say it takes so long to get to learn Pocono, to learn the line here and learn what you have to do. There's a quick study.
This guy's his 3rd time here.
Yeah.
It's only his 3rd race here.
Yep. Billy Engel says nothing but praise for Jeff Green. He says he's a real focused young man. He thinks he has a great ability to feel the car and tell him what it needs.
And just moving into this team, taking over the wheel, and a new crew chief this week. Wow. And Terry Labonte always near the front at Pocono in that number 5 car.
And who do you think Jeff Green's hero is? Right on his back bumper.
DW.
Right. That's exactly right.
MCI presenting NASCAR timing and scoring for you as the field goes across the tunnel turn. If you've never seen a race from here, we call it the tunnel turn because the tunnel from outside the track to inside the track goes underneath turn 2. There goes Ernie Irvan, Jeff Burton. Ernie's in 12th, wants to grab 11th.
See Bill Elliott running with 3-wheel brake there. As you look back at Ernie Irvan right on his back bumper there, if you're going to lose the brake, the right rear is the one to lose because you don't have a tremendous amount of brake on the back of these cars anyhow. You never want them to lock up, so when they knock that brake line shut, that wheel just freewheels down there, and it really does not hurt the car that much.
I got a good chance of understeering a little bit going into the corner, more than you would if you had the back brake, wouldn't you think?
Well, you don't use the rear brakes nearly as much. The pads are about half the size and everything else. So you can see Bill Elliott going down there. He's passing Ricky Rudd on the tunnel turn, so he's running pretty well.
Sure is. If you're trying to figure out what race strategy had ought to be in terms of pitting, they are using the same tire here that they used last year, and several teams were very successful in changing just 2 tires late in the race instead of 4 to gain track position. These tires do not have very much give up in them. They are almost as fast after many laps as they are when they are brand new.
Eli, Ward Burton in the 22 there. You see him in 3rd place. He is running a super good race right now. Shifting 3 times each lap. Seems to have this racetrack down. He just passed Terry Labonte to move into 3rd.
We're at lap 69 of 200. Then you've got Dale Jarrett battling with Jeremy Mayfield in the 37th. Look at Gordon closing in on Dale Jarrett.
That's bump drafting is at its best right there. What happens there, it'll pick the car up about 200 RPMs when you touch them like that. You have to turn them loose before you get to the corner, though.
Yeah, we've talked so much about shifting here. This is one of the unusual oval tracks where you actually shift during the lap. You know who started that? Richie Evans. A lot of folks think it was an innovation from the Roush bunch a number of years ago. The great modified star Richie Evans used to shift here back in the late 70s, and Steve Meal was working for Richard Petty at the time, and Steve made note of that. And then when Steve went over to the Hagen bunch, Billy Hagen racing with Terry Labonte in '83, he had Terry try it and then reintroduced it with the Roush team in 1989. But it really goes back to Richie Evans in the late 70s.
Richie Evans ought to get credit for a lot of things they do around automobile racing. He was a great innovator. Gary Nelson tried it for a while with both Bobby Allison and Jeff Bodine, but they did it differently than we do it now. Instead of shifting in the long straightaways, they shifted in the tunnel turn and tried to shift down there to get a little bit more gear through the tunnel turn and then out of 3, and that really didn't work. They had to abandon it, but Richie started it, and the guys who really made it work, Steve Meal and Mark Martin, and now everybody does it.
You know, I was just looking at the hood on the Scooby-Doo car there of Jeff Green. I think he's got big teeth this week as he starts down in the corner here. You guys have to realize this kid has only driven this car twice, and here he is leading.
And he finished 36th and 41st in his 2 visits here. And Matt, I believe that's the car they used back in Rockingham when we were all together back in February. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Eli, I talked to Bill Engel this morning. He says, you know what, we were looking through the record book and we realized nobody had ever won their first race here at Pocono. Well, we think that we've got the young gun that can do it. We're putting some conservative setups on him, just giving the basic deal. We're fine-tuning to his likes and dislikes. He's giving us great communication. And the Hendrick chassis that they bought last year, these are old Kenny Schrader cars, the 25 car. They bought 7 of them. He says between that and the Hendrick horsepower, we think we now have the complete package that will get this car, number 29, to victory lane.
It'll be an interesting story if he gets there. Starting 29th today. He's currently the leader, but still a lot of racing to go. We're just 72 laps complete. Darrell Waltrip bringing Ward Burton and Terry Labonte past Jeff Green. In between them, Jeff Gordon has also joined that move. Dale Jarrett is there. We'll show you exactly what happened on the pass heading to turn 3.
Well, you see Jeff Green on the outside there. He just has to give way. Darrell Waltrip drove deep down in the corner. Now what? As you see Burton, he comes right on in there too and takes over second.
And Ward is closed in. There goes Dale Jarrett now trying to grab 3rd from Terry Labonte.
Jarrett does so well at this racetrack. Remember when he was driving for the... Oh, yeah, watch that 24 on the low side. 2 teammates side by side. Remember when Jarrett was driving for Robert Yates and people were saying, not too sure he can really get the job done. That was 1995. Come July here at Pocono, boom, started 15th, won the race, and they said, oh, I guess he can drive after all.
Well, look at this guy right here. Ward Burton showing them all he can drive as he makes a move on Darrell Waltrip going down into turn 1.
Ward Burton powers past Darrell Waltrip, grabs the lead, lap number 76.
And so we've got a Pontiac, a Chevy, and a Ford in the first 3 spots.
Ward, who led from laps 23 through 36, reestablishing himself. There's Darrell, who, of course, hasn't won since 1992. DW's not won since Darlington in September of that year.
But he also won here in 1992.
Yes, he did.
Whoa! Yep. The 24 car, Jeff Gordon, got very, very loose coming out the tunnel turn, then almost lost the back of the car.
Jarrett grabs second. Darrell in third, and AC Gordon trying to make the inside move. They're on the north straightaway. That's the one from turn 2 to turn 3, and then back to the main stretch. That's where that passing took place.
Burton, the 22, is your leader. Just going out of your screen. Jarrett is in second spot, number 88 car. Then comes Gordon.
Jeff Hammond's got to be tickled. Heck, the whole Western Auto Parts America bunch, Matt. Ooh, that was close for Mayfield there. Yeah. They've all got to be tickled with Darrell's run, don't you think?
Eli, their arms are going to be so tired by the time this race is over. They are high-fiving each other, arms are waving in the air. Jeff, a great run. You dropped back to third or fourth. Any problems with the car?
No, we're just trying to run a smart race right now. This is still a real tough race as far as the engine's concerned. And we're trying to get him just to kind of like, be patient. Let's save the car. Get on back down into like the last 20 laps where we can get ready to really go racing. We've already shown we've got a good, strong car. So now we've got to be smarter than what the rest of these guys are. Just keep them in sight, and I think we got a car capable of, reeling them back in when we need to. So that's what we've told them to do. We've led today. We got our 5 bonus points, and we're just trying to be smart right now. The car's pretty good. Been chasing the clouds like everybody else, but I think that when it comes down to it, we can make the necessary adjustments, and Darrell can take her back to the front.
He hopes to get that win. He has not got here since July of 1992.
Meanwhile, I believe we have seen problems for Mike Skinner again on the main straightaway. He's heading off into turn number 1 right there. We saw a good bit of smoke, and if that is indeed another engine failure, it would be number 4 of the weekend. I certainly hope that's not it, because that team has worked so hard this weekend. But if indeed it's a power plant that's gone away, it's another. And how about old Jeremy Mayfield there? His only top 10 finish a year ago was at this racetrack, and he's doing awfully well.
He sure is, and what a good run he had last weekend as well. 4th last week at Dover, and challenging Darrell Waltrip right now for 4th position.
Jeremy, I talked to the crew chief today, and that's their own car. They said that you have to build your own car to really beat anyone. You have to have a little advantage. That's their own...
one of the 11 chassis.
Exactly, and the car is super good for Jeremy.
Now, they want to have it called Chronicles Posh if they possibly can, but Steve Levitt really is the guy who designed it. Let's get back to that engine deal a little bit, because that is so important here at Pocono. In the last 2 years, 22 engines have caused drivers to fail to finish. You heard Jeff Hammond say we got to watch the engine, take care of the engine. Why? 4 June races in a row, Darrell Waltrip has had engine trouble, 3 of them terminal. But look at this, Joe Nemechek on the inside of number 5, Terry Labonte, and here comes the 94 of Elliott as well.
That was for 6th spot.
Yeah, and engines will be a big, big story before this day is over. Count on it.
And how about that move there? Give Jeff Gordon 2nd place now, around Jarrett, who's back to 3rd. All of this behind Ward Burton.
Eli, we're watching the same thing that happened last week. The Fords really run super well when the sun's out. You can see the sun has popped onto the speedway. Under great conditions, the Fords don't seem to be able to hold with the Chevrolets.
Here comes Jarrett right back again. This is the battle for 2nd. While we watch this, if you're a Mike Skinner fan, he is on pit road. The hood is up, the crew checking there, but the action on the racetrack far more riveting at the moment. Jeff Bodine, or excuse me, Bobby Hillen there now smoking. Thought it was from Bodine, who was running right near him, but the smoke we see coming from Bobby Hillen's machine. Glenn, what are you hearing?
Well, guys, we've been hearing some of the drivers complaining on their radios about it. Bobby Labonte, Ward Burton, and Terry Labonte have all been complaining about oil on the racetrack, and it appears that it might be coming from Bobby Hill in the 77, so it's getting even greasier out there. And as Buddy said, the sun has popped out right now. That magnifies the problem about tenfold.
So they are going to bring out the black flag for Bobby Hillen. John Andretti making a stop. All of this is 19 laps shy of halfway. We're at lap 81 of 200. The race lead is exactly 2 seconds for Ward Burton. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pocono 500. is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. And by Peerless Faucets, the do-it-for-yourself faucet. Hope you're enjoying this Sunday afternoon. I know that guy is. That's Ward Burton. He is the race leader. Took over at lap number 76 most recently. We're now at lap number 84. And you know something? All three manufacturers have led today. And that shows you exactly what's going on with all the give and take and the rules in the garage and this, that, and the other. All three manufacturers leading the race here at Pocono today. And Glenn Jarrett, Ward Burton, once he's gotten clear, even with his different shifting pattern than the others, he's getting gone.
Yes, he is. He's running very, very well. They've had a good race car since the start of the race, Eli. We're speculating that they're going to come in around lap 95. They're talking about taking a little bit of tape off the nose of the car, maybe to tighten them up, take a little downforce off. I got to say something about Jeremy Mayfield right now. He's passing Dale Jarrett for second place. This kid started 27th. He is now up to second. He has got a great race car under him. Remember, he finished fourth last week at Dover. Great job for Jeremy Mayfield.
And that tied his career best finish last weekend. He had finished fourth at Martinsville back in April of last year. Backed it up last weekend, and now he's up into the second spot, bypassing Jarrett. You see Napa bringing you the rundown across the top of the screen. You know the folks at Napa. They keep America running. Napa Auto Parts, regular part of our coverage here on TNN Motorsports. There you see Jeff Gordon. He's right behind Dale Jarrett now. That is third and fourth position that you're seeing on the racetrack. Let's talk about Ward Burton's different shifting pattern, Buddy Baker, with everybody shifting going into one and then coming, or just past start finish and then into one. With Ward being different, how much extra strain is that putting on the power plant and on the gear?
Well, what it means is you turn the engine the max more times than anyone else. That's hard on not only the shifting, it's hard on the transmission, it's hard on the rear gear. It's also hard on axles. It's just harder on the whole car to shift. Every time you shift, it puts strain on the car.
But like you said, if he wins, everybody will be doing it here in 6 weeks' time.
You betcha.
I sort of did an inventory in the garage this morning and asked what everybody was going to do about the shifting situation here today. Virtually everybody is shifting just once, but many of the teams said, when we come back here in July, we're going to try it twice. We're going to shift on the front stretch, we're going to shift on the back stretch, and see if it really works for us. And with this demonstration of speed by Burton, it's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of people doing that.
We are at lap number 86. Pit stops taking place for some. There you see Joe Nemechek and Bill Elliott, Jeff Burton, Ernie Irvan. That's the scramble from 6th, 7th, 8th position on back. You've got Derek Cope, super run for the Skittles Bunch here this weekend in 9th position, and Hut Strickland going 10th.
Boy, could you see the 28 car of Ernie Irvan get very sideways? I think the racetrack itself is really getting loose right now. You can see the back of these cars really moving around.
What are you hearing about that, Glenn?
Well, I think the USS Valdez must be parked nearby because there's another big oil slick down in turn 1. 24, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, and Bobby Labonte are all calling in saying there's oil all down into turn 1. I don't know if it's still from Bobby Hillen's car or not. He's been in the garage area 6-8 laps, but they're calling them, complaining again about oil on the racetrack. You know, like I said a while ago, it gets worse and worse when the sunshine comes out real bright like it is right now. It really greases it up. They don't like it.
Good battle for 6th there. Jeff Burton in the 99. Joe Nemechek in the 42, side by side. Of course, nobody is spinning out in the corner.
Give a good call for Bill Elliott. He is really hustling his car right now. You're riding inside of his car as you see a side-by-side battle there. Look at Ernie Irvan get very sideways and almost into Nemechek as they come off the corner.
And Nemechek did a great job there moving his car up, gave Ernie Irvan some extra room.
Elliott follows him. Hut Strickland in the 8th.
Gee, no matter what's happened today, Bill Elliott is part of the picture in this race, isn't he? Tenacity, stick-to-itness, never give up.
Stick-to-itness, I love it.
He's a walking, talking thesaurus, ladies and gentlemen.
What does that mean?
You know a bunch of words.
Oh, okay.
And your middle name is Roger.
That's it.
We're 11 laps shy, 12 laps shy of halfway. They're going to push Mike Skinner's car to the garage. He is done for the day with engine failure. So Greg Sachs, Bobby Hillen, and Mike Skinner, the 3 retirees of the day. Sachs out with an accident. Bobby Hillin with that oiling problem we saw, and now Skinner with engine failure. The lead 4.4 seconds as you see Dale Earnhardt there in the middle of that mix in 11th spot, being bypassed by Musgrave, and the great save by Hut Strickland.
Oh, indeed, that was my. As they come off the corner there, Hut Strickland got very, very loose. Dale Earnhardt put the nose of his car completely up under Hut Strickland's car. He come very close to wrecking.
I wasn't sure if that was you or one of those sound effects noises that we hear.
No, it goes. I got him down, boy.
Yeah, you do. Let's take a look at that again in case you weren't looking for a moment. Watch Hut's save coming up here off the corner.
Look at Earnhardt, how close he is. There, the 8 car gets really sideways.
And look who took advantage of it. Ted Musgrave at the bottom saw the whole thing happening and picked up a spot, at least for a while.
10 laps shy of halfway. There's your race leader. Last lap, 162.434 miles an hour for Ward Burton. Right now, we're taking a look at Pocono International Raceway. A lot of folks here at halftime getting themselves some nourishment. You can find those same kind of deals, plus a whole lot more at Opryland USA, the official destination of NASCAR. You see the phone number, or if you want information, go online at www.country.com and get all the info about the official destination of NASCAR, Opryland USA, Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, Ward Burton's got it going. Right now, you've got the Jeff Gordon car in second, Jeremy Mayfield being shown in third, Jarrett now in fourth, Burton in fifth. That will be Jeff Burton. So the front 5 bracketed by the Burton brothers.
Boy, Ward's way out there.
Eli, look at that windshield. They clean the left side every time they come in. They forget the right side. Our camera's looking out of the windshield that the driver is not looking out of. That, you can see how oily and how much stuff flies up on the windshield in a 500-mile race here. We're only halfway, and look at the right side of that windshield.
Not even halfway, as Dale Jarrett runs in the 4th spot, still 6 laps shy of the halfway break. Now Ward Burton peels off the racetrack. Pit stop time, lap number 95 will be his stop as he is pitted just past the start-finish line. Jeff Gordon comes down right behind him, Glenn Jarrett.
And I'm in the MBNA Pontiac pit. Jeff Gordon goes by me to go into his pit, Eli. We heard Ward's crew talking about maybe taking some tape off the nose of the car. I haven't seen him go there yet to do anything. And there the guy goes. Yeah, he took one strip right off the top. That is to tighten the car up just a little bit. That increases. All right, Jeff Gordon meanwhile has had a minor chassis adjustment. They're still up. Ward is down and away in 20.13. Left side a little bit slow for Jeff. Gordon is gone.
So with Gordon and Ward Burton making their stops, that will make Jeremy Mayfield the race leader. And this will be the first time he has led at Pocono. First time he has led in 1997. Jeremy hasn't led a race since Darlington of Labor Day of a year ago. So what a super series of runs. 3 of his 7 career top 10s have been in the last 6 races. When you get to that kind of groove, man, it's wonderful to see. Now you're with Dale Jarrett on pit road. He and Jeff Burton, Waltrip, that's Darrell Waltrip. Into come Morgan Shepherd, Derek Cope, Bobby Hamilton is in, Jimmy Spencer is in. Steve Burns.
Dale Jarrett is in. Now, Glenn Jarrett was exactly right a few laps ago when he said that Dale was loose. They're going to make some chassis adjustments to the 88, a rounded wedge, a half a pound of air out of the right rear. And they also take 2 rounds down on the track bar. So a lot of drivers are complaining that the track is very loose, particularly in turn 1. 19-1, Dale Jarrett's away.
Good stop for him here at lap number 96.
Well, Jeremy Mayfield's enjoying the lead, but he needs to get in this lap or a lap from. He's coming in at enough speed. That takes care of that story. He does not want to get out of sequence with the leaders, I'll guarantee you, and be out there on old tires and lose back. Because they're on fresh tires and they're flying right now.
So Mark Martin takes over the lead now as Mayfield is in and Dale Earnhardt is in. Here comes Ernie Irvin, Joe Nemechek, Ricky Rudd, Matt Yoakum.
Jeremy Mayfield already stopped on pit road. He says the car's a little bit loose, but Paul Andrews thinks it's because there's oil on the Raceway. They will not make any chassis adjustments to the Kmart RC Cola Ford. It is a 4-tire stop, a good stop, and he's down and away. 17 seconds, Steve Burns.
Matt, Ricky Rudd is in just ahead of Ernie Irvin. Ricky Rudd did make a chassis adjustment. Got the right side tires finished, the left side just a tick slow on that front. Rudd's finally gone, and they did make a chassis adjustment.
There's the leader, Mark Martin. Took over the lead, but now he will relinquish it. And if he doesn't pit, then Dale Earnhardt would take over as the race leader. But let's see exactly how it cycles back on around. It could be Musgrave who'll come back to the stripe here first. But pit stops are being made. Here you see Mark Martin in. Gary Bradbury is in. Others stopping now. Here comes Rusty Wallace in for service. We're 2 laps shy of halfway. And remember, there's $10,000 up for grabs for Gatorade here in just a couple of laps. Let's go back to the pits.
Mark Martin in. They also made a chassis adjustment to the right rear. And also, you see them fitting the windshield. Guys have been complaining all day about grease or internal windshield. 20.7 for Mark Martin.
So Martin led 1 lap. He leads lap number 97. Ted Musgrave is indeed the race leader now. That's how they came around. And there is Ted in the Family Channel Prime Star machine. So he is going to yield. And now Jeff Green cycles back around as your race leader. And if things stay as is, Green might well take home the Gatorade Front Runner Award coming up in just about a lap from now.
So far, so good on all these pit stops. One of the things they have to worry about with his overdrive transmission is that it's not just 3rd and 4th gear that are affected. 1st and 2nd are affected as well, and 1st is more like 2nd. So they really have to be careful leaving pit road that they don't burn out the clutch. Ask Rusty Wallace. He did that in this race last year. Said he cost himself the race.
Pit stops being made. Everybody working themselves with the race lead held right now by Jeff Green. He's coming off turn 3 with the top spot. Here at Pocono International Raceway, what happened to Jeff Gordon? Tire problem, lap 23. 1 lap later, same fate for our bush pole sitter, Bobby Hamilton. Then the caution came out, lap 57. Bobby Labonte spun, and you are caught up to date. Lap 101 at Pocono. Welcome back, everybody, and there now is our race leader. We have seen Jeff Green make a pit stop over the last moment or so. So Jeff Bodine becomes the leader here at lap number 101. Meanwhile, Jeremy Mayfield continues to have a super day. There he is, working his way back through traffic after the sequencing of green flag stops. At the moment, Matt, he has been in 9th spot, but we've already seen him lead today. What a great day.
They are having an awesome day, Eli. Paul Andrews, boy, hats off to you guys. You guys are having a stellar day today.
Yeah, it is. You know, we've had a real good car here all weekend. Qualifying got a little off the first day. We've kind of picked it back up with the 2nd round qualifying. And, you know, we know we've had a good car. It's been practicing real good. Every time we go out, the speeds are real good. You know, this team's come a long ways here this year, and we've got a really good group of guys. Pit stops are looking good. Everybody's getting along real good. You know, things are just going the way they need to go. We didn't have no failures last week. We finished 4th. You know, if we don't have no failures here, we're going to have another good run.
Hey, you know, they had a 4th place finish last week. They had a meeting this morning and said, hey, guys, we've got our own in-house car program going well. We're going to have a good run today. Everybody just be patient. It's going to be a long day, and we'll be there at the end.
Paul Andrews, one of just 6 active crew chiefs who have won a NASCAR Winston Cup championship.
For those of you that see Jeremy Mayfield's right front fender starting to vibrate pretty bad, that should not be a problem. It's you'll notice as he comes off the corner there, it vibrates a little bit. It's really not a problem. It's not an aero problem. It's just vibrating just like the hood is there.
Now Jeff Bodine makes his stop, the race leader, who has led more laps here at Pocono than anybody. He has led now 103 career laps here at Pocono International Raceway. So Jeff Bodine will make his stop here at lap number 103. And that will cycle things back around to that Ward Burton, Jeff Gordon battle. Behind them, you've got Jeff Burton, then Jarrett, Nemechek, all of that cycling back around to the front.
This just may be Bodine's very best racetrack. He's run here 30 times. He has led 20. This is the 21st time he has led here at Pocono in those 30 starts. Ran the modifieds here. Said when they ran the super speedway modifieds, he was one of the tester guys. Found out he could run the tunnel turn wide open in that thing. Imagine that.
Imagine it was quite a show. There you see 6th and 7th, Nemechek and Mayfield. Just ahead of them, 5th place, Dale Jarrett. And then we'll cycle you back closer towards the front, and there you find Ward Burton, our race leader now, as he crosses the stripe with Gordon right behind. Who was quickest on the pit lane? No wonder Paul Andrews is bragging. Not only are they quick on the racetrack, they're quick on pit road. No typo there. 17.6 seconds on that stop. So Bill Davis and the bunch sitting down to watch their car leading by 2 seconds. High above the Pocono International Raceway. Camera shots coming from something that is 44 feet high, 36 feet wide, and 128 feet long. That can only mean one thing, Buddy Baker.
The best smelling blimp in the air.
Paul Adams, the captain, and Nathan Crawford, our cameraman. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Keep your eye on the sky. And look out for that cloud. There's our leader, Ward Burton, showing the way, lap 107.
Said on Friday, before the time trials even began, he said this is a much better team than we have been showing. Indeed, they've run strong this year, but they've had a lot of trouble. Engine trouble at Talladega, engine trouble at Charlotte. Took them out of both those races. Started 9th at Dover last week and had trouble right early in the race.
You see Jeff Gordon right behind him. It had been 2.01 seconds when we broke away. Now it's 1.09. So in the last couple of moments, Jeff has caught about a second off that lead of Ward Burton. If you're a Bill Elliott fan, he's back on the pit lane for service. Darrell Waltrip's also backslid just a bit. He's in 17th now. There you see the 3rd place man, Jeff Burton. A lot of you folks dropped us email and comments after last week at Dover that you liked when we went all the way back through the field, middle of the race, to show everybody. So why don't we do that right now? There you see Burton. He's being shown in the 3rd spot. So you got Ward leading and Jeff in 3rd. Jeff Gordon then would be the meat in the Burton sandwich. Behind Jeff Burton, you go back to Jeremy Mayfield. He'll be the next to pivot into the picture right there, running in the 5th spot, with Dale Jarrett in 6th, Joe Nemechek in 7th. Mayfield 4th a week ago, Dale Jarrett, then Nemechek. And you've got Dale Earnhardt now working his way up into the 7th spot, so that's those 4 machines right there on the track. That's 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th spot. Maybe Joe's favorite racetrack, Pocono. He loves this northern swing. Dover and Pocono run so well. There's Dale Earnhardt now in 7th position, as we mentioned. Then you've got Morgan Shepherd running in the 8th position. There is Morgan.
Driving a car that they call Old Ugly. He said that this is about the last car they had left in the stable. They do have that additional sponsorship now. Can go on, run the rest of the series. Will Morgan be the driver? That is a question this weekend.
You've got Derek Cope right there, the Skittles team, looking for their first top 10 of the year. They've got it now in 9th. Behind him, you see the colors of Mark Martin. They're battling for position. Martin Irvin and Jeff Green. There they are, 10th, 11th, and 12th, right there pivoting onto the screen. Mark, one of those who, as you see, hasn't a win here at Pocono.
Many a strong run, but no wins.
There you see Jeff Green now. He's in the 11th. Ernie Irvin now in 12th. We're working lap 110. No change with the leader still as we take you through the field. Ward Burton is still leading here at lap 111. Behind Ernie, you'll go to the 13th place runner, Ted Musgrave. There he is. Ted's had a lot of good runs here at Pocono. And Hunt Strickland, he's running in 14th. Had that nice save we showed you off turn 1 earlier in the day. Hunt's in 14th spot. Behind Hunt, pivoting into your picture here in just a second, will be the Tide colors for last week's winner, Ricky Rudd.
And he has had such strong performances here at Pocono. In his last 3 Poconos runs, he's got a third, a second, and a second. And this is the same car he finished second with in both Pocono races last year. And there's a lot of people who think that today could be the day that Ricky Rudd wins 2 in a row.
Then you drop back to our Busch pole sitter, Bobby Hamilton. There he is after his tire problems of earlier. Still on the lead lap in 16th position. Then you go from Bobby Hamilton back to Darrell Waltrip. There's DW now leading that 3-car pack in 17th. What's he doing back there, Glenn? What's happened?
Well, the car's not quite to his liking right now, Eli. It has gotten very, very loose on him, so he's having to soft pedal it around here. He just can't drive the car into the corners near as hard as he could earlier on when we had overcast sky. Right now, I see some clouds moving back in, though, so it may tighten the racetrack up just a little bit more, make DW come back up toward the front. But right now, he's really loose.
Eli, we do have that situation on the speedway. The only place that I see the sun on the racetrack is across the tunnel turn, so it may come back to DW right now.
There are Rick Mast and Michael Waltrip running 18th and 19th together now here at lap 112. Next, you'll find John Andretti will be next in line now in the 20th position. You'll see the interval from Michael Waltrip there in 19th. Still waiting for Andretti to pivot into the picture. And there come the next couple of machines on the racetrack. Andretti running in the 20th spot, and Sterling Marlin right behind him in 21st position in that Kodak Gold Chevrolet. Then you see Wally Dallenbach next in line. The first Union colors. There's Wally. He's running in 22nd with Jimmy Spencer. Car 23 in 23rd spot. So Dallenbach and Spencer together, 22nd and 23rd. We will pick up and take you the rest of the way here in a moment or so, but let's take you to the front quickly, show you the numbers on the leaderboard, and remind you that Ward Burton is the leader at lap 113. Pocono, Pennsylvania. Dr. Joe and Rose Mattioli's home track. My goodness, that was something not indigenous to this area. 2.5 seconds for that man. Ward Burton, the race leader, over his brother Jeff Burton, who is now being shown in second. You've got Jeff Gordon, Jarrett, Mayfield, Nemechek, and Earnhardt. That's your top 7. Let's go back and continue our look back through the field. Ricky Craven is the next man on our list in 24th position. We have documented only his 5th race here, and Ricky's still on the lead lap, has led for a bit in the Budweiser machine. There's Kenny Schrader in the 33, Jeff Bodine in the 7. They're battling for position. 25th and 26th swapping hands right there as Jeff Bodine swings by Kenny Schrader over towards the tunnel turn. Behind those fellas, you're going to have the next car in line. That's Mike Wallace. Now, he is in 35th, a lap down. So he's not battling for position right now with those others. He's a lap down in the 35th position. Now you go back to the guys on the lead lap. There you've got Steve Grissom and Terry Labonte. That's 27th and 28th places on the racetrack. 27th and 28th right there.
And I wouldn't worry at all about Terry Labonte being that far back in his potential to win, because he has won from further behind in terms of starting position than any other driver in Pocono history.
There you see Bobby Labonte. After his accident of earlier, he is now 4 laps down, being shown in 38th spot. Then you go to the Pennzoil Pontiac. That's Johnny Benson. He is in 33rd position, being shown a couple of laps down. That's Johnny Benson from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Next on the racetrack, Kyle Petty right there, the Hot Wheels Pontiac. He is in 29th, running right now on the lead lap. Let's go to his pit for an update.
Eli, this is going to be their Indianapolis car. They said that they've been struggling so much this weekend. They're going to try to use this race as more or less of a test to kind of break this car in, see whether the likes and dislikes of it. They've been struggling a little bit, so they're just going to kind of turn this one into a test. David Evans told me, though, that when they first started this team, they knew they were going to have their ups and downs. One thing that they really wanted to have at the shop to kind of cut the ice a little bit and have some fun was have the traditional shop dog. Well, they went to the Adopt a Dog program, and they said, you know what, we found the dog that we wanted, but there was another dog in the pen. So they said, well, what the heck, let's take two dogs with us. One was black and white, and one was almost completely black. So they named one shop dog and one blacker. Well, unfortunately, Shop Dog was hit by a car a few weeks ago. They said, you know what? That dog was there at 3 o'clock in the morning when we were there working on the cars. We're going to dedicate the rest of this season to Shop Dog. He goes, no joke about it. He goes, he's one of our honorary pit crew members, and we really miss him. And you know what? We're dedicating this season to him because he is a team member of PE2.
And you saw that little plaque on the dashboard of Kyle's car that says in memory of Shop Dog. Continuing our look at who is running on the racetrack behind Kyle Petty there is the 29th place runner, Rusty Wallace, the Miller Lite colors there. He's still on the lead lap, Rusty is, running in 29th. Been very, very quiet today for a three-time winner here at Pocono.
And Rusty is rarely quiet, especially at this racetrack. Runs so very well here.
And then you go to the final car on the lead lap behind him, which would be Brett Bodine. There you see Brett in the close call entry, car number 11. So he is in 30th position, the final car on the lead lap. Now others still on the racetrack. Bill Elliott, he's running in 30th position at lap 115 for him, while everybody else is at 120. There you see the McDonald's colors. So Bill is 5 laps in arrears, being shown in the 39th position at this stage of the afternoon. I believe I said originally 30th. He is 39th. And then you come back around to the race leader. The only guys you don't see, Bobby Hillen, Mike Skinner, and Greg Sachs. They are in the garage done for the day.
You can see right there that Jeff Burton is closing in on our leader, and he's bringing Jeff Gordon right along with him. There's only about 10 car lengths difference in first and second right now.
So the Burton brothers battling on the racetrack. Different teams, of course. One for Bill Davis, one for Jack Roush. What kind of problems, I wonder, is that presenting, Matt?
Well, you talk about brotherly love. Ward Burton was asked by his brother Jeff via the spotters up on top of the grandstands, hey, when I get up to you, how about letting me lead a lap for points? I guess Ward's response was, well, okay, if you can get up close enough, I'll let you by to get a lap, and then I'll probably will go back by you. Jeff is expected to pit about lap 128 to lap 130. He says his car is a little bit tight.
Jeff Burton is 5th in points, if you're curious.
Eli, there's a great story in the second place car here of Jeff Burton. It's their Martinsville car. It's a new concept. A lot of people bring super speedway cars here because of straightaway speed, not the old sage Buddy Parrott. He said, no, I'm going with the car that gets forward bite off these corners. You can see it's paying off for him right now.
The only driver to post 7 top 10s in the first 8 super speedway races, Glenn Jarrett.
And right now he's got a little bit of a chassis problem. Eli Ward is reporting that the car is loose getting in the corner, and then it tightens up coming off, so he's fighting it a little bit. Also want to bring up, we've documented the troubles Darrell Waltrip is having. We commented about Terry Labonte being way in the back. Both of them are very, very loose, and they both have cornered the NASCAR official and told him, man, there's debris on the racetrack out here. We got to have a caution flag. NASCAR ain't buying it.
On the racetrack now, first, second, and third tied tightly together. You've got Jarrett in 4th, Mayfield 5th, then Nemechek, Earnhardt. Mark Martin is 8th, Morgan Shepherd 9th, and Jeff Green doing himself proud today, running 10th. Uh-oh, problems right there for John Andretti. John Andretti, who raced go-karts here with Michael Andretti back in 1976. He will pull off the racetrack problems for the RCA team. So we continue under green. The battle for the lead, controlled by that man, Ward Burton.
Brought to you by Gladiator and Universal Luxury Vans, the official vans of tracks, teams, and drivers throughout the NASCAR world. Call 1-800-445-2825 for a dealer near you.
It's a Pontiac leading a Ford with a Chevrolet in third. That's the rundown now. Ward Burton, Jeff Burton, and Jeff Gordon. And now let's see if Jeff can get by and lead that one lap he wanted and get 5 bonus points. Couldn't make the move going into 1.
I don't think Brother's just going to hand it to him right now. Not with Jeff Gordon that close behind. If there'd been a lot more distance, maybe he would have done it. But right now, he's going to try to hang on to that position if he possibly can.
MCI bringing you NASCAR timing and scoring here on TNN today with the coverage across the top of the screen. Only one Pontiac has won the Pocono 500 this event, and that is Kyle Petty, who did so back in 1993. But we still got a lot of racing here. We're only at lap 127 of 200.
Yeah, that large lady with the horns on her head, the one that sings so much, she's in Pennsylvania now. She's on her way.
She hasn't even started clearing her throat yet.
Oh, no. She hasn't gotten near the racetrack either.
They're going around Brett Bodine, who'll be going a lap down in the close calls car. That is 28th position.
You know, you wonder about the value of happy hour, the very last practice in the day. Yesterday in that happy hour practice, the fastest guy was Jeff Gordon. The third quick was Jeff Burton in the 99. He is right there on your screen, currently running second. Fourth quick, Ward Burton, your leader. They get the car set up in that last practice session because it is most like the racetrack that they will run on, and that's what we're seeing here.
And it was almost at this exact same time. The ARCA race yesterday wrapped up right about now. We went off the air at 3:30 yesterday, so that final practice was in very much these exact same conditions. Maybe a few more clouds, but basically the same condition. Let's see what happens there. It's going to cost them. Matt Yoakum.
Ward reportedly told Jeff Spotter, hey, tell him to come on. Well, they told Jeff that. He says, I'm trying. He says, the Pontiac is throwing up so much air, I cannot get close to him. He goes, I'll give it another chance. But he goes, I just cannot get close to him. They're going to pit together in about another 3 to 4 laps. Steve Burns?
All right, with Larry McReynolds, he's going to bring him in the next lap. What adjustments can you guys make? You guys are having a good run today, Larry.
Well, we had been making big adjustments all day. It's like we go a little bit this way and the car goes too far. The last run, the car is pretty good, but too tight right now. So we're going to drop some air pressure out of the front and take a little wedge out and see what we do here.
All right, they struggled last week at Dover, but they look good today. Top 10.
Dale Earnhardt, you saw him right there. You'll also be seeing Dale Earnhardt on TNN on Monday night, June the 16th. He's going to be presenting one of the awards at the Music City News Country Awards live here on TNN. He's going to get together with Brooks and Dunn to give away the Female Vocalist Award. Rusty Wallace is in. Caution is coming out on the speedway. Caution is on the speedway in the middle of that Rusty Wallace pit stop for that man, Bobby Hamilton. Bobby Hamilton problems, lap 130, the third caution of the afternoon. And there's the King trying to find out what happened.
And Rusty pits under green. Everybody else gets to pit under caution.
Look at the smoke inside the car there. I wouldn't even begin to guess what it is, but it looks like it's leaning over towards the right front corner. You see the fire trucks getting there, Bobby Hamilton moving around, everything fine except the car itself is unable to go on.
Kenny Schrader was also on pit road when that caution came out. The leader now takes the caution, as you see, Ward Burton. So caution for only the third time this afternoon. Problems for Bobby Hamilton. Pit stops coming up. So the caution lights being displayed and the yellow flag out for just the third time today. Bobby Hamilton had problems going across the tunnel turn. Touched the wall, and you saw the aftermath as he spun off to the grass. It opens up pit road for everybody now. Let's stay with these pit stops first off. Lap number 132 will be the start of caution flag stops. Glenn?
And Ward Burton brings the MBNA Pontiac in. Ward was glad to see this caution, guys. He was fighting a condition. The car was getting very, very loose getting into the corner, so they're going to put a couple of rounds of bite. They're on the right rear doing that right now. Jeff Gordon, meanwhile, is in. His car also was just a little loose, but as long as he ran right up behind somebody, it seemed to help tighten the car up. Now let's go down to both down in the way. Let's go to Matt.
4 tires and fuel for Jeff Burton. They adjusted a half a round down on the track bar. He said the car was still a little bit too tight. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Matt, Dale Earnhardt said his car is tight coming off the corners, so they made that air pressure adjustment that Larry McReynolds talked about, and he's off pit road and down towards turn 1.
So pit stops for the leaders now. Everything will cycle back on around. They'll reset the field for you as soon as we come back. Lap 132 of 200. Caution. The problem, the STP Pontiac. Riding along with Mark Martin under caution here at Pocono International Raceway. Jeff Gordon is currently the race leader. As we work under caution, time now for the AutoZone Tech Fact, brought to you by the more than 1,575 AutoZone stores across America.
If you've watched NASCAR Winston Cup racing, you'll know that sometimes races can be won or lost on the last lap by fuel mileage. NASCAR allows us to carry 22 gallons of gasoline in the car. How do we get every drop? Well, inside this big box is a little box with trap doors. As the car goes around the racetrack, fuel is sloshed into this little box. The trap door closes, not letting it exit. Even if this big box is empty and there's still fuel in this little box, the car will keep going. There's always enough fuel in this little box for about one more lap.
And we thank Ray Evernham for his involvement. There is Ward Burton on the racetrack right now as everybody cycles back around through the course of these stops. Ward has led today 3 times for 60 laps. Ward Burton on the racetrack. He is now in second behind the race leader, Jeff Gordon. There you see Terry Labonte, and they've done some work on Terry's car, Glenn, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely, Eli. As I said, he was fighting a real loose condition. So when he came in that time, they took a spring rubber out of the right rear. That's to soften that right rear up, try to make that car get a little bit of bite. Also, Rusty Wallace was very, very loose. They brought his car in. We saw him. He got out just ahead of the leaders, but he's at the tail end of the lead lap. Rusty's also fighting a loose car. And Jeff Gordon knocked off a great pit stop, about 18.6. Should have put him in the lead. Let's go to Matt.
Well, you hear about everyone's been complaining about being loose. Jeff Burton is one of the few guys who's complaining about being a little bit tight. The reason, the damage to the right front window opening on his Ford Thunderbird. He sustained that damage a little bit earlier today. That's disturbed the aerodynamics on the right front, giving him a little bit more tightness in the front. And let's go to Steve Burns.
Matt, Ernie Irvin's had problems. He had an extended pit stop. His brake pads on the right side are gone. He said, I can't finish the race this way. They're back on pit road. This is their second visit, and they're going to probably have to look at the pads on the left side. Ricky Rudd is also in as well with the hood up. We'll check on that story and follow up in just a second.
So we're in the middle stages of the Pocono 500 here at Pocono International Raceway. Glenn Jarrett had a chance this weekend to spend some time with the folks from Pepsi Cola. They had some very exciting news to pass along to you about doings here at Pocono.
Well, thanks, Eli. I'm standing here with a couple of guys from Pepsi Cola. This is Frank Tansey. He's the national sales manager for Pepsi. This is Mike Bayshore. He's with the local Pepsi bottler. Frank, welcome to Pocono.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here on a great day like today, the race, and we're going to have so much fun here. Mike here, the local guy with us, is tied into a program with the race coming up, and I'd like to have him talk to you about a special program we're doing with the Poconos.
Mike, tell us about the program. It sounds exciting.
Yes, it is. It's a real exciting program. We have a limited edition Jeff Gordon collectible ticket package courtesy of Pepsi. Oh, there's only 20,000 printed. They're individually numbered. Good for grandstand admission for the Pepsi ARCA 400 race on July 19th here at Pocono. It's a pair of tickets for only $35 plus $4 shipping and handling. It's a $50 value. To order your tickets, call 1-888-593-9045.
Wish everybody out there the best of luck. May you win those Pepsi tickets.
Yeah. Indeed so. Yesterday when the ARCA teams ran here, Tim Steele took home the top prize as the ARCA Bondo Marhide Series ran their 24th race ever at Pocono. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pocono 500 is brought to you by the Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning. By GMAC Smart Lease. Want low monthly payments on a new GM vehicle? Call 1-800-32-SMART. And by the Exide NASCAR Select. So reliable, it's the official battery of NASCAR. Well, we appreciate you folks joining us. Well, that creek looked nice one to drop a little line in, didn't it? Beautiful part of the area here at Pocono, Pennsylvania. He installed his own Peerless faucet this weekend. Since he's here, maybe he installed it at the hotel or something. I don't know.
Those signs are everywhere.
They are. And we appreciate you guys drawing those up, as the folks at Peerless ask you to do. There's the pit stops, and you see how folks did during the course of these pit stops. Kyle Petty's made a lot of stops. Ricky Rudd has made a series of stops. Ernie Irvan is back in with the hood up. Steve Burns, why don't you bring us up to speed?
Eli, as we said a moment ago, brake problems for Ernie Irvan, also brake problems for Ricky Rudd. Let me show you something down here on pit road. This is built behind Bill Elliott's pits. This is his windshield. Now, a lot of the teams have gone to putting a protective film. You can see I'm going to peel a little bit off there, off the windshield. A lot of guys have been complaining today about how the windshields have been greasy and dirty. They can pull these right off the windshield like a sprint car driver would do to his visor. Now, let me show you what's left over. This came off Ricky Rudd's car in that last pit stop. You can see right here, there's one piece and another. These have the inspection stickers here from NASCAR. So they also, this saves money for the teams because a new windshield is about $300. One crew chief told me these films will save a team about $6,000 a year, so also saves money and efficiency for the team.
Interesting story. Thank you, Steve Burns. By the way, want to congratulate one member of our TNN Motorsports coverage team, Paul Boykin. His company provides all these great in-car camera shots that you see, and he became a grandfather. Paul Boykin has a granddaughter who was born yesterday, Miranda Yvette Boykin. 8 pounds, 2 ounces. Terry Boykin and Liza Boykin, the father and mother, and our congratulations to all.
And also congratulations to Gary and Christina Nelson, NASCAR's top cop and his wife. They have a new baby, John Adam Nelson. And meanwhile, Rusty Wallace in the number 2 has repitted for fuel.
Oh, Rusty Wallace on the pit lane. There you see the lead changes, and you're also seeing the line now. Those are all the teams that go to the Unocal gas pumps, and they will fill up those fuel tanks, fuel cans there, 11 gallons per can for the 22 total, and back they will hustle out to the pit road.
And indeed, a safety factor. That keeps you from having 100, 200 gallons of fuel in each pit. They go back there, they fill up the cans after each stop. That keeps you from having too much fuel in the pits in case of a car getting in there maybe wrong and getting over and knocking the fuel all out of there.
Hey, folks, if you'd like to bring a part of your favorite race team back into your own home, we've got a suggestion for you. You can come to Opryland anytime for that Salute to Motorsports, June 25th through 29th, and be part of all the activity. Food Lion and TNN Motorsports allowing you to meet your favorite driver, get autographs, get pictures. It's a great time. See all the show cars, not just NASCAR, but all sorts of racing at the Salute to Motorsports from Food Lion and TNN. It's all at Opryland, Nashville, Tennessee. Just call 615-889-6611 to get all the information, or log on to country.com, your personal source for all things country, and to get all the information there. There's Jeff Green out on the racetrack now. Remember, the Abba-Dabba-Doo car had a problem a little while ago, and he's in 33rd. Let's get an update from pit road.
Rut row. Big problem. He made a pit stop, an unscheduled pit stop under the green just before that caution period, guys. He had a dead cylinder. They didn't know if it was a plug wire or a valve spring or what. They are still fighting it. It has not cleared up. So tough break for Jeff. He was running in 10th at that time. Like you said, he's way back now, but he'll be back on another day. He's doing a great job.
Jimmy Howell puts the green in the air. We're back to work at lap 139 of 200 now under a fairly significant overcast.
And Schrader's car, see him on the inside? Yep. That green car, puffs of smoke out the exhaust, out the left side. Schrader with a serious engine problem here.
Running in 23rd spot on the lead lap. He is apparently going to go to the garage area as everybody now strings out on the restart. Just wrapping up our third caution brought out when Bobby Hamilton had problems across the way. Let's get an update on his situation from the garage.
Well, Bobby, it started out a great weekend for you on the pole, but what happened?
I don't know. We was leading the race and hit something going into one on the racetrack and cut a tire down, and then I seen some brake stuff flying. It looked like brake caliper parts or some part of brakes, and I went to dodge it, and I thought I dodged that piece, and I went in that corner, and just tire went out on it and went up and hit the wall. So this is usually our deal about the middle part of the season. We do it every year.
Well, he's frustrated, but at least he can have a smile.
Eli, as you can see right now, these guys have been adjusting the cars for sunny racetrack. Of course, it's now cloudy again. So the guys that were looking real good in conditions when the racetrack was hot and slick, now it's changed. I guarantee the crew chiefs are really pulling their hair out.
Yeah, looks like we saw last week. You're right. Bobby Hillin, I believe we mentioned, back on the racetrack, 52 laps down. So Greg Sachs is in the garage with Skinner, Andretti, and Bobby Hamilton. What's the temperature done now, Glenn, with this cloud cover?
Well, it has gotten a lot cooler, Eli, in the last 5 or 10 minutes or so. I'd say the temperature down here, at least out here on pit road, has dropped 6 or 8 degrees. It has gotten a lot cooler. So that's only going to magnify those problems. And now everybody's going to be yelling, it's too tight, it's too tight. And so the crew chiefs are all throwing down their headsets and walking back to the garage area.
We've had 50. Oh, there's smoke coming from Ward Burton. Smoke from Ward Burton going into the corner.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Eli, we talked about this early in the broadcast. One of the few cars that had the 3 shifts on the each lap. Too bad.
Caution. Wow. He's putting out some fluid. You can see right there beneath the graphic for a second. And he is going to bring out the caution. Not only was it smoking, but there was some fluid coming out of the car. So caution on the speedway.
You can see the back bumper there. It's actually got the oil running down it there.
And all the leaders will be heading back, as you see, through turn number 3, back to the stripe.
And this will be his 3rd Motor DNF of 1997. Lost one at Talladega, lost one at Charlotte, and now one here today.
Not deserving of that kind of fate. He led early in the race for 13 laps. He led later in the day. And the crew just can't believe it. They led 60 laps, the MBNA team did, only to apparently see the rest of the day go up in smoke. It's not a fair business sometimes, but you got to be around at the checkers. We're coming right back. More from Pocono with 59 laps to go.
To a 3,600-pound object if it's going fast enough. It's called Bernoulli's theorem. It's the same equation that explains how birds, planes, and the occasional race car can fly. Now, NASCAR, to counteract that force, since 1995 has required that all Cup and Busch cars have roof flaps installed. Now, Gary, Bernoulli's theorem, that sounds pretty complicated.
Well, it's not really that complicated, Leslie. You know, these cars are designed to be very efficient aerodynamically moving forward. But when they get into a spin, the air flowing over this area of the back window and the roof can act just like an airplane wing and lift the car right off the racetrack. Well, when the car turns sideways or backwards, the air will open these doors, these flaps, and that will kill the lift by creating turbulence and cause the car to settle right back down on the racetrack.
Just a quick excerpt of NASCAR Garage. It's a half-hour show that airs on TNN Motorsports. You can see the entire program this evening at 11 o'clock Eastern Time if you'd like. It's right here on TNN Motorsports. Matt Yoakum's in the middle of that confab alongside Ward Burton's car. Tough break, Matt.
It ejected Ward Burton. Ward, it looked like you had him covered today. Did it give you any indication it was going away?
No, the car was good. All the MBNA teams worked hard. We got a good team. We just can't get a daggone break. Ignition went out on the front stretch about the first 30 laps. Overtacked the motor, switched to ignition 2, and that's probably what made it blow up. But just the same, just can't buy a break right now.
Just a tough day for Ward Burton.
It is indeed a tough break right there, but he'll be back right at this track again in about 6 weeks' time. A chance to improve upon the position, and of course on to Michigan International Speedway next weekend. It's amazing, Steve, where the technology in this sport has gone over the years.
Eli, it really is back here with Bill Elliott's pits. Now, this is an extra nose piece. Some of the teams have gone to using tape. I showed you the windshield a minute ago. They call this helicopter tape. It comes in a wider piece. They'll affix it, about a 4-inch part of it, right to the nose. Now, okay, what's the reason, you say? The next time our director, Gary Clem, shows you a bumper shot, if you see the bottom part here gray, that means they're sandblasted. The teams don't have this tape on. Now, here's the thing. The body man doesn't have to refinish this nose for the next time they use it. He can just paint right over it. They take the tape off, and it's clean as a whistle. If it's sandblasted, they have to take filler, get it smoothed back out, and then paint it. So if Glenn Jarrett is the weather specialist, I'm the tape specialist today.
You got it covered. You got it covered, Steve Burns. You sure do. We appreciate that. Glenn Jarrett spent a lot of time today with a lot of different people. We talked earlier with the folks from Pepsi. Also this morning, Glenn had a chance to spend a few moments with the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Pennsylvania.
Well, thanks, Eli. I have the distinct privilege right now standing beside the Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania. This is Mark Schweiker, and Governor, beautiful day for a race.
Well, we ordered up the Pennsylvania Sunshine, and I think you can tell by the faces and the smiles that they're looking forward to a nice day and an extremely competitive race. And I think they, a lot of these folks like the Petty name, and I think it explains the turnout today too.
Well, speaking of the turnout, this is a great event for the state of Pennsylvania. Brings in a lot of outside business, but also the citizens of the state support this as well.
Well, let me tell you about the economic return. I mean, it's probably well over $10 million, and that's exciting for a lot of reasons because it means jobs and income for good Pennsylvanians. And of course, once a year, twice a year, we've got 2 significant competitions here. But on a day like today, people are excited. They're pleased that NASCAR folks are here in town, and we want them back again and again, because it is rewarding economically.
Well, thanks so much for taking time to be with us. Enjoy the race, and thanks for this beautiful day in Pennsylvania.
See you.
NASCAR first raced in Pennsylvania in 1949 at that old circular 1-mile Langhorne Speedway. Remember that one? Red Byron got the win. Actually, he got the pole. Curtis Turner got the win that day. And then a month later, Lee Petty won at the old Heidelberg Speedway in Pittsburgh. So racing in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania goes back all the way to 1949 in NASCAR's Premier Series. Jeff Gordon leads. Jeff Burton is second. Joe Nemechek now third. Race fans of all ages, young and old, and the young at heart. Good to see you here. Big Rusty Wallace fan looking on. Rusty in 25th position right now, but great to have you with us here at Pocono International Raceway in person, or those of you watching at home here on TNN Motorsports. Let's go back to Steve Burns.
Eli, we have a picture here worth 1,000 words. We've been talking about problems with brake pads. Here it is. This is what is left. It came off Ricky Rudd's car. This is a new one off Bill Elliott's. Look at the difference. About a half-inch here of brake pad. This one off Ricky Rudd's down to the metal.
And that's what has put Ricky Rudd a lap down, the brake problems that he has suffered through. And several other of the named drivers have also gone a lap down. Ernie Irvin is down a lap. Dick Trickle's down a lap. Rusty Wallace, Kenny Schrader, all down a lap.
Brett Bodine also 1 lap down. 2 laps down, Johnny Benson, David Green, Mike Wallace is a couple of laps down. And you go to 3 laps down for Kenny Wallace. Also 3 down now are Jeff Green, Gary Bradbury, Bobby Labonte is 3 down. Ernie Irvin is 3 laps down. 4 laps down, you've got guys who are many problems through the day. And then, of course, you got Bill Elliott. He's 4 laps down now in 37th position. Everybody else is in the garage area. So tough day for some, fine day for others like Nemechek and Mayfield, buddy. They're 3rd and 4th.
Eli was just looking at the first 4 cars, all young drivers.
Young Lions.
They're coming on.
Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, Joe Nemechek, Jeremy Mayfield, Dale Jarrett in 5th.
Watch this inside line. These guys are all going to be trying to get a lap back, get back on the lead if they possibly can. Gordon off with a strong start.
And Huck didn't quite come up to speed to suit Ricky Rudd. You see Ricky trying to peel out there.
There you have it, 5 wide as they head down into turn 1. That's what makes this place so much fun for the fans.
Saw Jeff Burton there. The 99 is trying to pick and choose exactly where to go.
Ricky Rudd is driving Blacker. That is the same car that ran so well last week at Dover. He was in the lead until he bunted the 88 car, wound up damaging the nose, had to go into the garage area, put a new radiator in it.
How many people have race cars named Blacker? That's about the 8th one. Yeah.
Well, at least that one, and that's probably the best car that guy has ever had. 3 wins at Dover, 2 at Rockingham, 1 here in 1996 in June. His Blacker car did.
Speaking, of course, about Jeff Gordon and the number 24 DuPont Refinishes Chevrolet. Middle of the pack, that's 6th place Mark Martin, 7th Ricky Craven.
Good run for Ricky Craven today. He said he was going to run well. He felt very confident after having a great run at Charlotte. He's living up to what he said. You can see him shift down as they head into turn 1.
That was 8th place runner Morgan Shepherd. We're riding with him again through that high-speed turn 1 corner.
Now they'll run 3rd gear all the way back past the start-finishing line, and then they'll pull it back into what we call overdrive.
The shifting pattern is normal. They go as it would be for a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th situation, but the gears inside both the transmission and the rear end are a bit unusual. If you're going to run overdrive, you've even got to change the rear end gear to make it all work correctly.
Now you can see them coming through the long number 3 turn here as they head towards the front straightaway, and at about halfway down the straightaway you'll see Morgan reach up and pull it back into high gear. There, he's getting ready. There he has it.
There's Morgan, and there's Mark Martin there. Same spot on the racetrack. Now into the corner. You see them both shift.
Well, they're running right together. As you can see, they both shifted about the same time.
The idea there is to try and get the engine to pull the car better off the turn.
Oh,
Morgan shifted
Morgan
again.
did it twice there. He thought about it the lap before.
You noticed that? He thought about it earlier. Now he'll shift again going into the tunnel turn.
Caught you, Morgan.
Hold on right there. Hey, it's working, though. He's in 7th.
Hey, he runs this racetrack so well. He's got 4 top 10s in a row here in this race. And in 92, he qualified 2nd in this event. This is one of Morgan's best racetracks. Take here and Atlanta, and I think he probably got the 2 best for this guy.
Yeah, no doubt. Even back to his Jack Beebe days when he won at Atlanta. He shifts earlier than Mark does, you notice.
Well, if you noticed, he shifted over on the back straightaway because he was turning a little bit more. That's why Mark was able to go just a little bit. Maybe the rear end gear is just a little bit different on Morgan, and he turns a little more RPM.
Running 7th right now, Morgan Shepherd in Old Ugly.
Oh,
is that sparks out of the left side of Rusty's car?
Yeah, Rusty's a lap down, remember, in 24th position. Russell William Wallace had a little scare right there. Back up, though, to speed. Gets back in line just ahead of Bill. Don't know if he got way over and dragged it a bit.
I'm watching Rusty's car. It does not seem to be 100% right now because he normally runs this racetrack in the top 5 all day long. He's just not getting a good part of the racetrack like he normally does.
Of course, Rusty would have won last June's race here had he not burned out the clutch in the car after that scheduled green flag stop. They had the field covered, you remember that day, in that new Penske ground-up car. Watch this again.
Okay, he comes over. Car gets a little bit wide there. All
Just
that was weight
out.
transfer.
Yeah.
Just bottomed out. That's where the exhaust system exits the car. That's the lowest point of the left side of the car. That's probably what dragged.
Nearly every car here has the exhaust coming out just in front of the left rear tire, so that's exactly what it was, Doctor.
That's so Glenn and the rest of the guys on pit road can't hear when they go by. That's the idea.
It has really been feast or famine for this bunch, for Rusty Wallace this year. Do you realize he has either finished in the top 6 or he has not finished at all? That is it. I mean, he has either been in the top 6 or he has DNF'd. He has a win, 2 seconds, a 5th, a couple of 6ths, and 6 DNFs. Did not finish.
I'll tell you, they're really searching for the problem right now, Rusty, as he's renting motors from Larry Wallace at PowerTech right now. Larry Wallace out of Charlotte is a very good engine guy, and Rusty says our short track program's great. Our road racing stuff is extremely good, and our restrictor plate motors are good, but we're out to lunch on the mile-and-a-half racetrack.
There you see first place, Jeff Gordon. Right behind him, Jeff Burton in 2nd. Joe Nemechek is 3rd. Let's get an update on the Burton pit area.
Eli, a gentleman's agreement between Jeff Burton and Ricky Rudd. Jeff felt he was faster than Rudd, but Rudd was trying to fight to get his lap back. Jeff said, look, if you let me by, duck in behind me, and if I get past Gordon, I will let you by to get your lap back. It's a little bit of a gentleman's agreement between Jeff Burton and Ricky Rudd.
Interesting situation on the racetrack right now. Jeff Gordon is in the lead. He is part of a 3-car team owned by Rick Hendrick. In second place, Jeff Burton. He is part of a 3-car team. And in third spot, Joe Nemechek, guess what? Part of a 3-car team. The 3-car teams are in first, second, and third.
152 laps, 48 to go. There you see it, first and second, and then Ricky Rudd watching down towards the finish at Pocono. A lot of brand new stuff on NASCAR Online at www.nascar.com. You can get the television schedule for NASCAR events, real audio clips from MRN Radio, video clips from NASCAR's top touring divisions. They've got all sorts of chat schedules available for you to chat with your favorite driver. It's all part of NASCAR's growing involvement in cyberspace. NASCAR Online at www.nascar.com. And hey, don't forget, if you're a racer and if you like games, check out TNN Motorsports Hardcore 4x4 for the Sony PlayStation and Sega Saturn systems. It's in stores right now. Welcome back with Dick Berggren, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, and Matt Yoakum. I'm Eli Gold, along with the entire TNN Motorsports team. Glad to have you with us here at Pocono International Raceway. That's how things are stacking up right now in the overall scheme of things. Terry Labonte, who was the point leader, now would be 11 points down if the race ended at this moment. He's running in 12th spot with Jeff Gordon showing the lead. But again, still lots of racing left here this afternoon.
You see the 2 cars just in front of Waltrip there. They are really running quite well today. Derek Cope is running super well. You see him there trying to make a move on Ricky Craven into the straightaway turn as they come in there.
That's for 8th spot right there, buddy.
Brand new team this year. They surely have found out just how difficult it is to start a team from scratch. They've got Hendrick Motors, Hendrick Cars, and all the best there is, and it has not been easy for them, but they are having a terrific run here this afternoon.
Well, I tell you what, he's spurring it today. This thing is really going down the straightaway. You see Darrell Waltrip looking to the inside there of Ricky Craven and getting right on by.
Well, remember this race last year, Derek Cope started second, led 25 laps of the event. He had a real strong run here last year, but this is the strongest run we have seen Darrell Waltrip have here at Pocono in a long, long time.
Darrell Waltrip running in 10th. There you see the folks from Napa bringing you the scoring rundown across the top of the screen. Napa Auto Parts, they keep America running. All right, 43 laps to go, guys. Let's start talking some strategies here. We saw a lot of teams come in to pit at lap 142. Some came in at 145 during that Ward Burton caution a few moments ago. What are you hearing, Glenn, as far as heading down the stretch here with 43 laps to go?
Eli, Ray Evernham told me that they were going to. He told Jeff to run it in 6th gear like the Indy cars did last night in Texas. See if he can make it all the way. And I said, right. No, seriously, they last pitted on lap 131. They'll be in somewhere around lap 170. Everybody out there is going to have to pit at least one more time, and so therefore there's no point in trying to stretch it too far. If they do, they could possibly run out of gas on the racetrack. That would cost them a lot. So you should see them all somewhere between lap 165 and lap 173.
You could see Ernie Irvin just a second ago, very, very loose still. He hasn't got that car just exactly like he wanted it. The back really got sideways on him.
Big wiggle in that. The only real reason that you want to try to stretch the fuel here at Pocono is to hope that if you can hang on and somebody else has to pit the lap before you, that you catch the caution and your competitor does not catch the caution, and that's a primary reason they try to run as long as they can.
You see that 25 car, Ricky Craven? You realize that they have not finished on the lead lap since the race at Rockingham back in February. And all of a sudden, here they are running in the 10th spot, well on the lead lap. And that would be great to see. He's battled back from the flu bug and all that. It'd be great to see Ricky get on the lead lap. There's a good scramble there. Give it to Dale Jarrett. He'll move past Nemechek to take over 4th, with Joel being pushed back to 5th. 1:59 on the board. 41 to go. It's going to be interesting to see whether that team can hang on, or can Jeff Burton grab win number 2 of the year. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pocono 500 is brought to you by Monsoon Audio Systems. Power, attitude, audio for the road. And by Old Milwaukee, America's best tasting beer. There's the race leader, Jeff Gordon. He took over the lead at lap 133. We're now at lap 162. We had talked earlier about his corporate teammate, Ricky Craven. There's the Budweiser Chevrolet, now in 14th, but still hanging on the lead lap, Matt.
Eli, we've talked a lot about the benefits of being part of a super team. Well, after Ricky Craven wrecked both cars at Texas, they had not a car to bring to Pocono. Andy Graves called up Gary Dehart and said, hey, remember that car I helped you guys build? Terry didn't like it. You guys tested it 3 times but never raced it. Gary says, yeah. He goes, how about if I buy that car from you, bring it down to my shop, and I can take it to Pocono? Gary said, no problem. Andy is building 3 new cars to run the rest of the season. A lot of his own ideas that are from the car that they are running now were also put forth in the car they ran 2 races ago at Charlotte. He said, we just need to be patient. We're just building for 1998.
Andy Graves crew chiefing for that Budweiser machine, and they've got a talented driver. You gotta love Ricky Craven. He's, intense. He exceeds. If there is a word beyond intense, Mr. Thesaurus, if you've got one, Ricky would be it.
He just tries so hard. He is so focused, so goal-oriented, has so much organizational skill in terms of what he has to do today, what he has to do tomorrow in order to get where he wants to go. And it is clear in his mind, has been from the very first beginning, the 3rd mile tracks in Maine. Go forward, get a Winston Cup championship, and he will.
Eli, you talk and talk and talk about the guys that are up there fighting it out for 1st and 2nd, but Jeremy Mayfield is sitting there in 3rd place, one of his best runs of the whole year, and he's really booking right now. He come out of the pits a little bit back, but look at this guy go, and he's still in the fight here. I think he has an excellent chance of having his first win ever here.
And again, his only top 10 finish was here in the season past at Pocono. He came home in 8th spot. Now, who's next ahead of him, though? There he is coming down on the lower portion of your screen. And we'll move all the way towards the front, and there you see Jeff Gordon right there. So there's a good bit of distance to be made up yet.
And we have another pit stop yet to go, but Mayfield has had really strong pit stops today, and that's part of the program. You look at number 24, Jeff Gordon, and everybody's wondering, what is it that this kid's got? Is he just a great driver, or is it just Ray Evernham, or is it those terrific motors? The answer, folks, is having it all together, every single possible element. And Mayfield is looking awful good today with a strong race car, strong engines from Peter Guile, and he has got a good set of pit stops going for himself so far this day.
I will add one other thing. You guys back at the shops in Charlotte, North Carolina that work on the 24, work on all the other cars in this team, you're the heroes. You're the guys that make these cars go like they do now. It's a team sport. Jeff Gordon never carried that car on his back yet. You have to have that great team.
Well, 35 laps to go. That team is leading. Here comes Joe Nemechek now. Pit stops are beginning. Joe Nemechek in the 8th position. These are the final stops. This one coming in lap 165. As we've said, everybody is going to have to make one more stop. Minding that 55-mile-an-hour pit road speed limit. Matt Yoakum's watching.
Joe Nemechek coasts into his pit. It looks to be some kind of motor problem. There is smoke coming out from the right side gasket around the valve cover. Tony Glover's looking it over. Boy, a big disappointment for this team. They were all jacked up. They really thought they had a shot at this today. They were all pumped up. Tony was keeping Joe pumped up in the car, saying this is going to be our day. Just keep digging. And he turned the fastest lap of the race for him about 8 laps ago.
That is the car that Robbie Gordon drove at Martinsville earlier in the year with different paint on it, obviously. But Joe Nemechek was looking forward to coming here. His afternoon is not going to yield a win. Well, that is the man who's leading, Jeff Gordon, and indeed no driver has won back-to-back races here since Tim Richmond won both in 1986 and the first race of 1987. There's the second place man. That's Jeff Burton. Dale Jarrett has just moved into third right there, bypassing Jeremy Mayfield, who's in fourth. Joe Nemechek has taken his car to the garage area. So he will join Greg Sachs, Mike Skinner, John Andretti, Bobby Hamilton, and Ward Burton already in the garage. Pit stops, Ricky Craven is in. Lap number 170. We saw Morgan Shepherd pit moments ago. Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, we're discussing what exactly is going to happen down here. We're hearing a lot of guys talking about 2 tire changes this time, just the possibility of it. But the main thing that everybody's concerned about right now, it's starting to sprinkle a little rain right now. And as I'm speaking, Jeff Gordon's getting ready to come in. I saw Ray Evernham put his notepad up, so that means they're getting ready. They're telling him Jeff's telling him to leave the car alone just to make the tire change. Don't do anything else to it. Obviously, they're not going to adjust that race car. But we are getting a few drops of rain. I don't think it's going to be anything to be awfully concerned about yet. It looks to be just coming from these thick clouds around us, but they're moving right on by.
This place is so very hard on engines, and it is about to go into the few laps that are the hardest of all at the end of the race, when the engines are really beginning to get tired. And when they throw 4 fresh tires on the car, it's going to turn the wick up. The RPMs will go up a little bit better, a little higher. The car is going to go a little bit faster. And if you're going to blow one up, now is the time. The engine builders are all holding their breath. They were all in church this morning. I saw them. They were all there.
The gear and transmission and motor combination is just crucial here. It really, really is. Here comes Mark Martin running in the 5th spot. He'll stop at lap 172. Again, fuel won't be a factor. Everyone's having to stop. They'll all make a stop. You see Jimmy Fennick standing on the wall there, looking on as the crew chief.
2 tires are 4. What are they going to do?
And you notice Robert Yates right there in the middle of the screen from Ernie Irvin's pit, and Norman Koshimitsu and the rest of that crew looking on to watch Mark Martin stop.
So 2.
Yep.
Well, 4 is a little bit faster, but you spend time on pit road, and 1 second on pit road at 160 miles an hour is worth about 235 feet. And Jeff Burton in now.
Boy, he had to really get on the brakes here. He got sideways getting in the pits. Look at the damage to the right front corner of that car. That was done very early in this race.
And Dale Jarrett's in, and Jeremy Mayfield is in. Let's go to the pits.
And Jeff Burton in. There's a lot of pressure right now on the tire changers. Frank Stoddard and Tony Liberati. Let's see if they're going to change. They are going to change 4 tires. They come around. Let's go now to Matt Yoakum.
Jeremy Mayfield, a 4-tire stop. They really wanted to only do 2 for track position, but he was too loose. So they had to go for 4, adjusted air pressure, he's down and away.
So varying strategies here with 27 laps to go. Jeff Gordon having yet to make his stop, but here he comes now. He's going to come off the racetrack right there. Lap number 173, Gordon is in. Kenny Wallace also making his stop in the Square D entry. Let's go to Glenn.
Well, Eli, as I said, I don't expect any chassis changes whatsoever. I'll put the clock on Jeff, but Ray told him it would be a 4-tire change. They're not going to take any chances whatsoever. Even though Mark Martin only took 2 tires, they don't think that Mark's got the car to stay ahead of Jeff on the racetrack, particularly if he's got 4 fresh tires. So they're on the left side right now. Looks to be a pretty good stop by my clock. Jeff is down and away. Wow, 18.75 seconds. That's a great pit stop under pressure.
And that will hand the lead over to Musgrave now as Darrell Waltrip makes his stop. So Ted Musgrave now will assume the lead here in the Pocono 500.
After we go through this cycle of everybody stopping, Dale Jarrett had a killer stop then. He come out ahead of Burton, also ahead of Mayfield.
Darrell Waltrip took just 2 on his stop.
Lap 174, Bobby Hillin in to make a stop. Ricky Rudd stopping. There's the race leader, Ted Musgrave, who again calls this probably his very best racetrack. He has had a series of top 5 finishes here, but he finished 19th in both races last year. A little unusual, but Musgrave really likes this place. And here you see Burton swinging around Dale Jarrett after their pit stops. Rick Mast is coming in now at lap number 175 as Rick is in to the attention of the crew. Down towards the finish, the Rainbow Warriors hoping for another win. Here's a suggestion for you. Why not bring a part of your favorite racing team into your own home? Come to Opryland on June the 28th for the Food Lion TNN Salute to Motorsports charity auction. You can bid on everything from autographed racing tires to crew uniforms, and the proceeds go to Technology 2000. For more information, call 615-889-6611 or log on to country.com. Your source for everything country. Get all the information about the Salute to Motorsports charity auction. Good battle on the racetrack there. That's now 8th and 9th spot after the pit stops. Jarrett and Mark Martin.
Both took 2 tires. You see those aerial shots, how nice it looks around Pocono Raceway? It sure is. And that brook that you've been seeing, this place is just absolutely gorgeous. And it's a great trip to come out here and enjoy the races and stay around for a few days, maybe visit Steamtown or see some of the sights, go fishing, go swimming in the brooks.
And of course, in the winter, this is a wonderful ski country.
Yeah, winter here?
Yeah, last week.
Oh. I thought it was this morning. I'll tell you, it gets cold here on occasion.
One thing that's not a beautiful sight is Dale Jarrett looking in the mirror right now and seeing Mark Martin really closing in on him in a hurry.
That's a good battle between those two.
That's a great spot. Jarrett's got it, and Martin wants it.
Other pit stops are continuing while you watch the battle on the racetrack. If you're a Kyle Petty fan, he is in on the pit lane now for service. Kyle had rotated up to 3rd with everybody else stopping.
Most teams have taken just 2 tires, and Kyle Petty did exactly that. 2 tires, track position, more important than fresh rubber in that crew's estimation.
22 laps to go.
Goodyear has really brought a strong tire here. Same tire we had here last year. It performed well in 1996, and it's just doing great today. The idea is to try and have a tire that doesn't give up very much, and that's what we've got today.
Boy, what a great shot. You can see the RPM well over 7,000 as he went through the tunnel turn there. That tells you they're twisting the motor pretty hard all the way around this racetrack.
Lap 179, Rusty Wallace in for a stop. Not been a vintage day for Rusty, who has 11 top 10 finishes here in 26 races, but not to be today.
Well, he's virtually always a factor here at Pocono, but boy, today he just wasn't fast, and it's been that way all day long.
You could see 2 cars there. Yeah, Jeff Burton was doing everything he could to get Bobby Labonte off the back of him right now. He does not need to tow anybody around here. He needs to get going, and of course, Bobby Labonte is doing everything he can to hang on, and they were all over that front straightaway together.
Again, keeping an eye on 7th and 8th place right there. Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin. There's Bobby Labonte we were speaking of. And there's Jeff Burton, having cleared him now in the 6th spot. Musgrave is the leader. Michael Waltrip is 2nd. Spencer is 3rd. Again, these are still cycling through some stops. Wally Dallenbach with his brand new race car. He's on pit road now. He was running in the 4th spot. So Wally will come in at lap number 180 for his stop as you continue to watch the other scrambles ongoing. David Green there settling in behind Jeff Burton. And that's for position now. That's 13th and 14th. Terry Labonte and Morgan Shepherd.
There's the shift.
Boy, that was way down the racetrack. You can tell it's getting near the end now. They're not holding anything back. You usually shift way back up around the start-finishing line. That was some 150 yards on further down the racetrack.
Good battle between Terry Labonte and Morgan Shepherd. Terry grabbing that spot and hanging on to 13th. Morgan in 14th still. the tunnel turn.
Michael Waltrip in for his stop. Kenny Schrader as well.
He was showing second place as this goes along. Gordon's now starting to move on the pylon here on the front straightaway, moving all the way up to third place already.
So basically we're waiting for Ted Musgrave and Jimmy Spencer to pit. There is Musgrave, the leader. Spencer would be shown in second, and once they come in, that would cycle things back on around to Jeff Gordon, who would reassume the race lead. So that's how things stand right now. We are at this moment 19 laps from the finish on live coverage from Pocono International Raceway. Ted Musgrave has just made his pit stop. No tires, just a splash of 76 racing fuel, and away he went. But it was enough to give the lead over to Jeff Gordon, who now has a 2.5 second advantage over the second place man, Jeff Burton.
And 4 fresh tires on the car as well. It was a very gutsy move on the part of Ted Musgrave and his crew to try and do that no tires stop. But you know what's happened here is Gordon came in before he did. He's been running like a rocket around the racetrack on the fresh tires. He's managed to pick up some speed, and well,
Eli, with 15 laps to go, you have to do what you have to do. Right now, everybody's taking a gamble. The cars that were real late coming in the pits, they had to do that.
Let's set it for you between Gordon right there and Burton, who is 2.5 seconds back. That'll be first and second. We're waiting for Jeff Burton to pivot into your picture. That's what 2.5 seconds at Pocono looks like right there. And you've got Dale Jarrett in third, Mark Martin fourth, Ted Musgrave fifth, and everything across the top of the screen now is being updated and is correct. You've got Mayfield in sixth, Darrell in seventh, and Earnhardt, Jeff Bodine, and Terry Labonte. And those are still on the lead lap. You've got to go all the way back towards Wally Dallenbach and Ricky Craven. 20 cars in total on the lead lap.
And 3 Jack Roush cars in the top 5 right now. That's really getting with it.
Yeah, especially when there's only 3 Jack Roush cars all together. That's kind of the trifecta and hitting a home run at the same time. Roush car is running incredibly well here.
They always run well on the super speedways. We've seen that time and again this year. There are the pit stops. Obviously, Musgrave beating everybody. You can do that when you don't take tires.
Yep. Jeff Gordon, everybody's looking for the secret. What did he do? I'll tell you what, there were enough NASCAR inspectors looking for the secret. I don't think he could have drawn more officials this weekend in that garage area. He'd shown up with a big block on nitrous. They were looking at that thing just to be absolutely certain that that car is 100% legal. Nothing wrong with that car. It's legal.
Eli, this is a strong argument for teams that have more than one car in them right now. You look at the top 5, and every one of them are multi-car teams, or at least 2 team members in every one of this situation.
And you take a look at those multiple car teams this year and how well they've done. Burton, Martin, and Musgrave, you talked about the 3 Roush teams. They are 1st, 3rd, and 14th, respectively, on super speedways this year. If you want to take it even further, Dale Jarrett and Ernie Irvin, they are 8th and 11th, respectively, on the big tracks. And others, Dale Earnhardt, if you're an Earnhardt fan, he's 8th today, but he is 7th this year in super speedway points with his teammate Mike Skinner in 17th. Well, that man has 80,000 reasons to smile. If he wins, he'll take over the point lead, and he would take home the Winston leader bonus today worth $80,000. Jeff Gordon is across the stripe with 1 9/10 seconds of an edge on Jeff Burton. He gets the 10 to go signal from the flagman as Jimmy Howell leaned out over the racetrack. That's the battle for third now, with Jarrett and Martin going for that one, nose to tail. You've got Jeremy Mayfield and Ted Musgrave behind them, battling for 5th and 6th. Darrell Waltrip is 7th. Dale Earnhardt is 8th. Jeff Bodine 9th. And 10th will be Terry Labonte. I'll tell you something, if Jeff Bodine can get a top 10, as good as he always runs here, but in light of what he's gone through this week with engine problems and so on, if old Jeffrey can grab a top 10, he'll be dancing a jig when this one's over.
Well, this week, this entire year, and last night, the crew had an opportunity to do a little celebrating themselves. They got one of those Peter Guile Pro motors in the car, and that's what they've really needed. Depends on your count. They've lost somewhere around 15 engines this year. Crew wanted to try something different.
9 laps to go.
You know what?
What?
There's been a large lady sighting. She just walked into the Pocono International Raceway.
Just waddled into the infield there?
Yes, horns on her head, and here she comes. She's a
I'll tell you,
Let me tell
in
you
this
what.
business, you can't give anything to anybody anymore.
Eli, you've been in racing long enough. I've seen people lose it with 50 feet to go, much less several
Bobby
laps.
Allison one time at Martinsville on the last lap. Lost a race. We've seen that happen before.
No, I didn't say she was on the stage. I said she was on the grounds.
On the premises.
She's on the premises. And she's warming up.
Well, there's a warm-up right there. You can see that Mark Martin is trying everything he can to get by Dale Jarrett. And then through the corner, he closes in just a little bit. Jarrett seems to have an awfully good straightaway car there.
Meanwhile, up in front of those guys, we'll continue watching this battle, but we'll tell you that Jeff Gordon has 2 3/10 seconds now. On second place, Jeff Burton. Then Jarrett and Martin, you've been watching. Jeremy Mayfield and Ted Musgrave. Darrell Waltrip still 7th. Dale Earnhardt 8th. Jeff Bodine 9th. Terry Labonte is 10th. Terry's actually come up nicely. There you see the race leader, but his teammate, Terry Labonte, Matt, has come from a significant distance back to get into the top 10 now.
Eli, that's all they wanted this weekend was a top 10. Terry is not a real favorite of this racetrack. It's not one of my best tracks. I like coming here, the area and everything, but the track is just not one of my great tracks. We just want to get a top 10. And if he gets a top 10 today where he is currently running, it will mark his 300th career top 10. And guess what? Next weekend, I'll let you in a little secret. That car will change colors to a purple color, signifying a Tony the Tiger paint scheme at Michigan. Kellogg's, if you remind you, is based in Battle Creek, Michigan. They're going to change. And remember, every time they change colors, Eli, they win.
That's
North
right.
Wilkesboro last year, Charlotte last year, they changed colors. They got wins. He has not got a win yet this year.
Good point there as we watch Terry Labonte. You know, he has failed to finish only 5 laps all season. Talk about consistency. They have run 4,043 laps coming into this race today, and he's finished 4,038 of those.
Yeah, and the worst he's been in the points so far in 1997 is 3rd. This is the kind of stuff that champions are made out of. You keep hovering around those top 5, and Labonte is doing that race after race after race. Top 5, top 10. You're going to win a few races, maybe a whole lot of races, and you're going to win some championships. This is the defending series champion.
I would like one stat sometime. I'm going to look it up. A wreck that he actually caused. I think you would go back maybe 6, 7 years.
I can't remember one.
No. 5 to go. The signal now for the race leader, Jeff Gordon. There you see the spread between 3rd place Dale Jarrett and 4th place Mark Martin. Meanwhile, Morgan Shepherd, who's running in 12th, watch him going into turn number 1 here a moment ago.
Takes her down into overdrive.
He and Derek Cope.
Okay, you can see he run right up on the back of Cope. He missed his line a little bit. He gets up in the high part of the racetrack. There's a lot of debris up there. He come very close to wiping that number 1 out just then.
Did a good job, hung on to her. Car still hold. Could have been really old ugly, couldn't it?
Gear shifter just kind of dancing around there.
Yeah, but that's pretty normal. You usually see him bouncing around like that. There's a lot of vibration in the drivetrain, engines, transmissions, rear ends, and that's pretty normal to see it bounce around that much.
Too bad for Jeff Green. He's just taken the Cartoon Network car to the garage area after leading near the halfway point and having led prior to that as well. A grand total of 15 laps he led today. Jeff Green has just gone to the garage area with 4 laps to go when the leader comes by the stripe.
Look at Morgan.
He's telling Bradbury, please get out of the way, man. I need to go.
Bradbury running in 33rd, 5 laps down.
I wonder if that's better than a horn. Probably is, as long as the guy in front of you is looking in the rear view mirror.
Let me tell you, I've had to do that before, and a lot of people said I could reach out the right window when I wanted to get somebody's attention.
I remember when the cars were downsized the first time, and seeing you in those cars, your elbows were sticking out of both sides, basically. You're a tall man. When those cars were downsized, it was a change for a lot of folks.
I'm telling you, these cars right now, you can reach over and touch that right window. That's how narrow these cars are.
There's the leader. Quick look at the top 10 for you.
Wait a minute, I heard something in the other room back there going.
That's the fat lady clearing her throat. There's second place, Jeff Burton. There's third and fourth, Jared and Mark Martin. Old Jeremy Mayfield still driving around in fifth spot and having himself a fine afternoon.
And you know, you talk about the luck of the draw. Here's Burton, Jeff Burton, running in second spot, having a problem understeering all day long. If only the sun had stayed out, that would have played in his hands.
There's Mayfield running in the fifth spot. Ted Musgrave right behind him in sixth, right there.
You know, that was a real smart call on Musgrave's part. He really hadn't lost that much, and he's right there drafting along in sixth place. He really did a nice job on that call.
There's seventh place, Darrell Waltrip.
Yeah, for the people that didn't get to see the first half of the race, Darrell Waltrip led this race, seemed to be the man for a long, long time. Great run for the 17 of Darrell Waltrip today.
He led 9 laps today, but was always around the top 3 or 5. You've got Dale Earnhardt running in the 8th position with Jeff Bodine and Terry Labonte rounding out your top 10. There's Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, this will be 39 races without a win. Remember, his own personal record's 40. Going to Michigan next week.
And there you see those winding down in the top 10. Jeff Bodine, and right behind him is Labonte.
You talk about a car moving along. The 7 there of Jeff. He just went by Earnhardt like he was stopped.
Grabbed 8th spot right there away from Dale Earnhardt, so they'll swap around. Meanwhile, for the race leader, Jeff Gordon. There he is, 1 lap away from what would be win number 6 of the season. White flag is in the air.
We talked to Evernham today before the race, and he said that people are booing right now. That just made them more dedicated to put everything they had in there to win.
And they are booing. Winning too much, so the fans don't like it.
Through turn number 1, very carefully. This would be Jeff Gordon's second Pocono win, the second straight win for him in June.
Do you hear that lady anywhere? I think it's over, folks. It looks to me like the race right now is for 3rd and 4th. You're looking at it. Jeff Gordon's coming down.
Been a solid performance, but again, he was fast in final practice yesterday. So not to be a surprise. He might have lagged back at times, gotten caught in traffic, but the DuPont Chevy does it again. Win number 6 of the year. Jeff Gordon wins. Jeff Burton is second. Dale Jarrett third. Mark Martin comes home in the 4th spot. And Jeremy Mayfield backing up his 4th place finish at Dover with a 5th place finish here today. So we are heading to the pits right now. Steve Burns standing by with Ray Evernham, who has won the Miller Pit Crew Award. Miller Lite inviting you to sit back and enjoy Miller time. Steve?
Hey, Ray, congratulations. That winning combination hit it again. And your Miller Pit Crew Award here from Miller and TNN.
Well, thanks. We sure appreciate Miller's support. It's great for the guys. The Pit Crew worked real hard today. You know, we got to thank God first because he controls the weather, and the weather sure helped us today. But we got a great race team. You know, we almost went a lap down here, just like we did at Daytona, and they fought back, played a lot of strategy, made some changes, didn't have a great race car, but stayed after it all day. So I want to say hi to Rick and Linda, and you know, it seems like we work for it every week, but they work for it hard today, and Jeff Gordon says he's just a great driver.
Okay, Ray, congratulations.
Thank you.
So Jeff Gordon has now picked up 16 wins in the last 44 NASCAR Winston Cup events. That is a 36% of efficiency in the last 44 races. And the 25th career win, 18th on the super speedway. He is an awfully talented driver with a great racing team. Well, we told you she was on the premises. It's about time for the lady to tell us it's all over. We're at Pocono. Jeff's in Victory Lane. Here she is.
There he goes.
Well, that's a familiar sight. Jeff Gordon in victory lane. Glenn Jarrett, we've seen this script before.
Well, we certainly have, Eli, and I've got to work my way around to Jeff. Jeff, congratulations again here at Pocono. You seem to have made this your own private stomping grounds. You seem to like this place, buddy.
Man, this is awesome. I tell you what, this Chevrolet Monte Carlo was awesome today. I want to say hi to Rick Hendrick. Every time I get out, I try to think everybody got a thing, and I keep forgetting him. But, buddy, we miss you, and we're with you, and glad you're watching at home. But this thing was killer today. But that pit crew, I tell you what, got to thank DuPont Automotive Finishes and everybody in that pit crew, man. They were so awesome today, and that's what did it. You know, getting me out front. I think if the 99 could have got on my rear bumper, would have been a different story.
Well, a little bit of a scare there early on when you cut that tire down. I bet you thought, oh, no.
Man, I thought, you know, the day was over. Luckily, we were at Pocono because, you know, at least we got a lot of racetrack to deal with, and we got that thing down to pits. They had a good stop and got us back out there. Again, the pit crew won this race today. I want to thank the Lord, certainly always blessing me and this team. And tell you what, I'm excited. Goodyear had a great tire today, but nothing beats the way this Chevrolet ran today.
That's exactly right, at least not here at Pocono today. Let's go to Matt.
Well, Jeff Burton's cheerleader, Buddy Parrott, was cheering him on, saying, you've got the car, you can get him. Jeff, you came up just a little bit short.
Yeah, we did. We had a good run all day, though. We had one little thing that was nagging us all day. We had a piece of rubber fell down in the hole where you want to adjust the track bar. And as soon as it got real cloudy, we needed to adjust that track bar. We needed to raise it up to make the car turn better. We couldn't get to it. And that's the only thing that when we were here in practice, that's the only thing that affected this car and really made a difference was that track bar. And we just couldn't adjust it. I'm not making excuses because we could have adjusted it and it might have hurt us, but we sure didn't get the opportunity to do what we wanted to do.
Well, still a good run and his best career finish here at Pocono.
It was a great run for him, coming home in second with Dale Jarrett third, then Mark Martin and Jeremy Mayfield. Down the stretch, Terry Labonte got by Dale Earnhardt. Joe Labonte will finish ninth, and Dale Earnhardt comes home 10th. We'll be right back. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Pocono 500 has been brought to you by Texaco. Play Race to Millions at Texaco and you could win $1 million. By the Miller Brewing Company, proud sponsor of the Miller Racing Team. We race for beer. By the legendary Firebird Trans Am from Pontiac. And by the United States Armed Forces, making it happen. Call 1-800-893-LEAD. Well, Jeff Gordon's in victory lane. Did not lead the most laps today. He led 59 to Ward Burton's 60. So Ward will get those 5 bonus points. And how about Jeremy Mayfield? Another top 5 finish for him. Let's go to the garage and get his thoughts.
Yeah, how about it, Eli? Had a great day, came home 5th. Jeremy, you guys were contenders, it seemed, all day long.
Yeah, you know, the guys did a super good job again today, and kept that Kmart RC Cole Ford up front, and just can't say enough for them. You know, the team's working great. We're coming together. You know, we've showed this last probably 2 months. We just haven't pulled it all together in the last couple of weeks, show what this team's made of.
All right, great run. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, Steve, thanks a lot. Congratulations to Jeremy Mayfield. Let's take a look at the results for you today and show you exactly how your favorites finished when all is said and done. Top 10, we've talked about them a significant amount of time today. Ted Musgrave's pit strategy paid off there, guys.
Sure did. Yeah, took no tires at the tail end. Everybody else took 2 or 4, and Musgrave took none. Wound up 6th as a result.
And a big call for Darrell Waltrip there, bringing it home in 7th place. Great run all day long.
As far as 11th spot, Derek Cope gets that position for himself today. It was not enough for his top 10, first of the year, but he came awfully close. And you see where some of the others finally settled in. Morgan Shepherd coming home in 12th today, as you see all of the teams coming across the checkered flag in the background. Rick Mast coming home in 20th. 21st today, Ricky Rudd right there. Not the day he had been hoping for. Dick Trickle didn't talk much about the Heilig Myers team. He came home in 26th, and there's Ernie Irvin down in 29th position. 31st today, Bobby Labonte, who had a spin midway through the race. And there you see the others. Ward Burton, who led the most laps, as we told you, comes home in 38th position today. There's Andretti in 40th, and Skinner and Sachs will round out the 41st and 42nd positions. Coming up as soon as we move aside, TNN Outdoors. 4 hours coming your way of all the outdoor doings. Fishing with Roland Martin will be along in just a moment. Of course, it's been a busy week in motorsports, and if you want to know what's going on tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, the p.m. edition of Race Day. And Rick Benjamin has that one for you this evening at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Also tonight on TNN Motorsports, it's NASCAR Garage, a half-hour look behind the scenes at the people, the machines, all the NASCAR doings. That's tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Don't forget Friday night, Patty Moise, myself, and Mr. Jarrett will be with you from the South Boston Speedway. The NASCAR Busch Series in action, the Winston Motorsports 300 Friday evening at 8 o'clock. And don't forget, next month, we'll meet up with these same NASCAR Winston Cup drivers in Loudon, New Hampshire. The Jiffy Lube 300 weekend. It starts for you July 13th right here on TNN Motorsports. So Jeff Gordon is back in victory lane. Hope you enjoyed the coverage. For Dick Bergman, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, Matt Yoakum, and Steve Burns, I'm Eli Gold. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next Friday night from South Boston, Virginia. So long, everyone.